I can hear the soul of my drink speaking to me.
Okay, now we're live.
Oh, I can hear you.
Now we're live.
What was in that Cosmo, Dario?
I know.
Give me a
Like you guys already started drinking too early. All right. Well,
We never stopped, Mark.
I know we're vibing. How come I wasn't invited?
It's already Saturday. We start on Thursday
I know. God,
at the Irish pub.
I know. We've got the Irish music going on.
We have to thank our sponsor to this podcast
Our
today.
sponsor today is Jeanette for buying all the alcohol.
Buying all the Modelo.
And
And I bought a lot. That's the thing though.
I know. What happened, Jeanette?
The 12-pack looked like it was falling apart, so I bought the 24-pack.
Ah, good Lord.
well, I like how you have a positive sense instead of a sense of, going. You could have gotten the 6-pack, but instead you went.
I went up.
You went up. You doubled down.
So, curiously enough, what are these called, these drinks real fast? While we're getting started. And I have to say, for our two listeners out there, we're not promoting drinking. I want you all to drink responsibly. We're having drinks with friends.
Yes.
And if you ever drink with your friends, drink responsibly.
At somebody else's house, hopefully.
There you go. Then that way, you know
Wait,
how,
actually, at your own house so that you don't have to drive.
Yes.
So Jeanette, what did you get us today before we get started? How do what did you make us here? What is this called?
I have no idea.
I feel like it's a little healthy because it has Gatorade.
It's
So I'm getting my-
electrolytes. It's electrolytes. You can water your plants with it.
It's Negro Modelo cut with
With Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Zero.
That's brilliant.
Gatorade.
Well, we added
Lemon
something
lime.
extra to yours, Mark.
Oh, nice,
We added a shot.
nice.
Of
Oh,
Control.
the
Orange
Control.
liqueur.
That's right. You put Control in there.
Yeah, it actually made it better. Trust me, without it, it was just super bland.
Well, I think the high water mark was the mimosas we made last time.
Oh, those were good.
Those were amazing.
And then remember the green and the blue?
Oh, the mermaid
Mid-
one.
The mermaid mimosa.
The mermaid was good. The mermaid.
But
drink.
you have another recipe for us today, though. You did get this this thing or to do like a vodka and
Vodka, beer, and lime
right.
lemonade concentrate. It's called the porch crawler.
Oh, so maybe
Wow.
mid through you can make us a porch crawl or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I actually have.
Whatever that is.
I have to admit something, guys.
What do you have to admit, Dario?
I added a shot of banana liqueur in mine.
Oh, did
Really?
it make it better?
It's kind of tastes tropical now.
Tropical.
Oh, I like that. Man.
Had I done the cherry liqueur, it might have separated with the different densities. Now
Dude.
it kind of looks like mud water. But
Dude.
I feel like I'm in a tropics with a banana,
Is it refreshing?
Bahama Mama banana flavor.
Man.
You're my banana, Mark. You're my mama.
Well,
So we are
I
banana
bought
mamas
the banana
here.
liqueur to make what's that banana liqueur treat you make for ice cream?
Bananas Foster.
Yes, I think that's what it is. I bought that for that reason.
Ooh,
Oh.
Yeah.
nice.
Because rum is not good enough.
No, because I want everything. I want it all.
Just like half a cup of sugar and rum
Yes.
and light it on fire, baby.
So
Did we not make? Did one of your kids not make bananas Foster when we were there one time? We
Did
were
we-
talking about it.
Did we make
filtering-
banana Fosters at work?
when we
No.
were filtering out the
No.
vodka and the Brita?
no, we didn't do it that. No, we did.
We had a
did.
kitchen
We had
and
a
we
kitchen.
made
Yeah.
some desserts.
Yeah, I saw that bananas were being fried on the stove and they were on fire.
That was good. We put them out with the rum though. But that was a mistake. Fire,
I'm still
rum.
trying to figure this out, but I'll work on that as we go. All right.
Okay.
So
Good
notable
morning, everybody.
notable-
Happy February 25th.
I know it's already the 20th.
Wow.
2/25/23.
Like what the heck? You know what I mean? It's like
Finally, it's getting to be a little bit warmer.
right.
Yes, today looks cold, but it's actually warm
The
out.
It's really
storm.
pretty.
It's going to be. It was
Dude,
46 degrees in the morning
there's a
and 76 tonight.
Blizzard
today.
warning for LA and San Diego.
That's
Weird.
nuts.
That's nuts.
Blizzard.
Like the
That's
last
like when the cows fly or
well,
pigs fly.
The last time LA had
fly.
one was in 1989. But
1989.
San Diego, I don't recall reading if they've ever had one before.
You know, look, they had rain.
Are you
About
drinking
time they have
coffee
some bad
too?
weather.
Dude,
Yes,
you're
I
drinking
like to mix coffee with everything.
coffee and cocktails.
I even so I brought my glasses,
Mark,
dude.
somebody just walked in. Hold on, let me introduce myself. My name is
okay,
Dario. Who are you?
Yes, my name is Marcos.
I don't recognize your
Costa.
I have to wear.
You're wearing your niece's glasses?
I wear
They
my
look
glasses
like-
more now.
They look like readers.
They look like baby
Did
glasses,
you get,
Mark.
Oh, baby glasses.
No, these are for like when I'm on here and stuff. You know what I mean?
Are they blue blockers?
They are blue blockers also.
I can see the blue tint.
Yeah,
Wow.
and they're dirty. But I find I have to wear them more and more, and you know what I mean? Kind of sucks.
Yeah, you're getting old.
Oh,
We're
crap.
all
Hold on,
getting
guys.
old.
Hold on, guys. Let me turn off the music. Are we going to get blocked because of the music? And
We might.
We've been talking though, so I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like people can download that song. Maybe it'll encourage them to, listen to us more.
oh, maybe we'll get blocked. That's like, isn't that like a sign of being recognized?
I know,
Wow.
right?
Somebody knows we exist.
We are. We're official.
Wow. If we
well,
get blocked, we're official.
you know what? You know what it was? There's a bunch of Irish guys in my kitchen singing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes. And,
which is
settle
actually,
down, boys. We'll be right there.
which is
Fix
actually
us some more.
not entirely
Guinness.
impossible
We need
that there would be
a shot.
guys in my kitchen singing.
Speaking of Guinness, my boys made a dark malt, it was like chocolate cake. It was delicious. They brewed. The last brew was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Brewing beer now?
Yeah.
Damn.
And they have this machine that puts a bottle cap on a bottle.
Nice.
Ingenious.
Wow.
He made it on his this thing that puts down one layer of plastic at a time. What is it? A 3D?
Oh no, it's like
The 3D printer?
No, yeah, 3D
a
printer.
drink.
Yeah.
No, he made a 3D
made a-
printer of a
A
cap?
tool with the 3D printer.
Wow.
Wow.
Man,
That's
your kids are
freaking
next
awesome.
level.
That
Well,
They
is
get to
freaking
brew us
awesome.
some beer.
Yeah, well, I should have brought some. It's like one bottle at, I don't know. He made a 5-gallon batch, and we have
Your kids.
they're in
awesome.
like a 12-pack of bottles, and I only saw
Dude,
3 in the
that's freaking
fridge.
cool, man. Like that's cool.
That is cool.
They have to sit. It sits like a bottle of wine, so you can't shake it up. You can't move it because there's sediment in it, and it's like real home brewing.
That's
Wow.
cool.
Homebrew
You have to admit
stuff.
that's kind of cool, right?
It tastes really good. It's like a Guinness. All it needs is like a little shot of Chambord, and it'll be like breakfast and lunch all together. Dessert and
Dessert.
dinner.
Dude. Well-
Liquid meatloaf
I want to make an ice cream float with Guinness. Oh. Right?
with the foam.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Like,
it separate?
it's creamy, and then you put the ice cream in there.
Isn't that like a thing? Isn't that like an Irish? It kind of separates like an Irish car bomb.
I would assume.
Ooh, those.
I don't know.
sounds
Because an Irish
good.
car bomb, you put a shot of Irish whiskey in there too.
Yes.
And that's what causes the Baileys to split.
And creme de mint on
Right.
a green on a.
Right.
Mint
Are we
julep?
gonna celebrate?
I think
St.
so.
Patrick's
Oh,
I
St.
think so.
Patrick's Day.
Day?
With
Remember when we celebrated? It was like a week
Yeah.
long event last
Yeah.
time. The first
I
time.
already decorated the house with St. Patrick's Day.
Did you really?
Regalia.
Oh, your kids.
Remember the stuff you gave me at work?
Oh yeah.
The
Yes.
lights
You guys
and the
still have your
bib.
tie?
Yes.
Oh, the tie.
I
all
still
the-
have my ties at work.
I have my tie. I'm gonna wear it.
I
Oh my
already
God.
hung it up in the kitchen. We're celebrating St. Patrick's Day early.
Dude.
Let's do it.
It's Patrick's birthday, March 3rd.
Happy birthday to
I'm
Patrick.
sorry, March 4th.
No, happy birthday to Patrick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
remember.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this thing works to go live, but one day I'm going to figure
Anybody
this
else
out.
celebrating anything?
Just Saturday with you guys.
Aren't you celebrating something, Jeanette?
St. Patrick's Day.
No. Yes. Beyond that, there's something else.
Mark's birthday. This month.
Oh, that's right.
March birthdays.
Holy smokes.
It's your birthday this next month.
Dang. Oh,
Dang,
wow.
dude.
Wow.
We have to make it a week long event.
It's going to be a week-long event.
Remember when we put balloons in your office and
That was
decorated the
cool.
hallways? And
Right now, I think that I
but
might
then
be,
somebody turned on the ceiling fan and it all went to hell. We had to call the fire department.
It smelled like condoms. You'd pass by your office. It was all you could smell was latex.
Burnt latex in the
there were
gears
so
of
many
the ceiling
balloons in my
fans.
office
So many.
that the rubber smelled.
Yeah.
It literally, my office literally smelled
That
like
was
a
his
condom.
excuse, Jeanette.
That
Oh,
was
it's just the
excuse.
balloons in the
It
house.
was just a massive cover up so he could do whatever he wanted.
Oh my God.
Thank God he didn't like develop hives and a sensitivity to latex.
Oh,
I
that's so
I
funny.
think I still have the video and the pictures.
I do.
too. That was hilarious.
I saw that picture too. Okay, my very first birthday at work was at court date. Business doesn't exist anymore.
yeah.
What was it? Okay.
And it was the first time I ever got hired for this line of business. And they ribboned tons of ribbons office ribbons everywhere, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, you walk in and it's just like, you can't even see through the office. There's so many ribbons hanging. But then they got aluminum foil and they foiled everything in my office.
Oh my
Like my
God.
coffee cup foil. My chair was 100% foil. Yeah.
Did you cut yourself taking it out?
It was wild. The phone foil, the cord to the phone had foil. Like
That's
everything.
brilliant.
It was brilliant. Stapler pin. Like
That's better than saran wrap.
imagine everything in this
Wow.
room right now
Is foiled?
and like fit 90% of it being foiled. First of all, how much foil do they have to use?
It sounds expensive.
Right?
Everybody shows up with band-aids on their hands with paper cuts, foil cuts.
I know, right?
They
That
were
would be so
foiled.
awesome.
They got foiled.
Dude. But yeah.
Boom, boom.
Boom.
Good job, Jeanette.
So then,
All right.
so then the HR was pulling pranks on me back in those days,
Oh, the
HR was
HR.
pulling pranks on here.
and I don't remember how it started. So then, what I did was, I got the sticky notes, and I got like 15 pads of sticky notes, and I was like, I'm gonna sticky note her office. That'll show her. Like 2 hours later, and you're like,
You're still doing it.
like it's a great idea, and it's probably a great idea if there's 10 people doing it and everybody had like half a stack.
Yeah.
But when you're by yourself and you have like 15 little things of sticky notes, you're there. And then her windows had blinds, so I raised the blinds, sticky noted the window, dropped the blinds, and I closed them so they were all like this,
Yes.
and like kind of like shuttered, and I put sticky notes on the blinds.
Oh my God.
So she was saying, she goes, dude, that was good. She goes, there were the air vents on the ceiling. And she goes, I take them all off the blinds, open up the blinds, and the
And they're
window's still
they're on
covered.
the-
Then I kind of thought, I was like, yeah, I don't think management would appreciate that expense to sticky note somebody's office.
But you had to save them.
I know. It's like, look, put them in a box. We'll reuse them.
We were using.
I need a sticky note. What color do you want? Okay, so yes, birthday this year. We won't say how old I am. I'm old, Dario. I'm old. I'm old.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're wiser.
Says who?
You won't do that again.
Not till next time.
Not that-
Oh my gosh. So this TikTok thing is going to be a work in progress. What I was trying to do is I was trying to go live while we were doing this, because people start following you, and then
Or one, yeah, or two.
Yeah, we might get like 3 people out of it. But I'm not.
One of them is the FCC.
I know, right?
The
What's
second
going
one
on?
is YouTube music rights.
So I'm not entirely sure how to do it. So
God, I miss the Irish jig music.
It was
I know,
pretty
right?
fun. You were coming up with clever songs yourself.
An
Right.
Irish limerick.
right, yeah. So I just don't know. I just don't know how this works, honestly. So I'm not tech savvy like these whippersnappers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that was that's actually my cousin. She puts way too much on. I'll figure it out later. I won't do it right now. So
It's okay.
I thought it was kind of a cool thing. But if I'm reading this correctly, it says you have to have like 1,000 followers. So I'll have to get more followers. So I'm gonna stop.
Well,
So we're only 998 left.
I know. So no, I'm gonna be posting all these like little shots on TikTok, the angle shots.
You realize that if we only have 2 followers, one of us is not following our own channel. That is pretty poor.
That's really sad. Who is it?
Dario, are you on? You
Who's
better be
not
Are you
following.
kidding me? I wouldn't want to be a part of any club that would accept me as a member.
So yeah. So also this week, because we've been following this for the last year. What happened this week?
It
We
was
talked-
the,
another anniversary.
It was the 1-year anniversary of Russia invading Ukraine.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember when that happened? We were
It
like,
seems like a lot longer.
it does.
Oh, we were talking about it a year ago. Holy
We were talking about exactly a year ago,
Wow.
and we were talking about like how insane it was. Russia's
Yeah.
invading Ukraine. Like
Now we know so much more.
so like we thought Ukraine like first week Ukraine's not
It's
going
done.
to make it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
done.
It's done.
And then like in a month into it, it's like they're holding on, and just the progression of it all. Now they're talking about sending Leopard 2 tanks and the Challenger tanks from Britain, Abrams tanks from the United States.
Copters.
I was reading an article that was saying that it kind of shows that Russia's not the big threat. The only big stick they have is a nuclear arsenal. they're not the big stick that they were. Because, they're talking about like doing a new Russian offensive. They don't have anything to throw at them. They're recruiting more people. They're doing World War II tactics, just throwing waves of people in there without guns.
Right. Really?
They're talking about they don't have enough guns and munitions.
How is that possible? How is it possible that you don't have enough guns and ammunition? Seriously. It's Russia, for crying out loud.
And then the Wagner Group is having a split with Vladimir now. He's coming out and saying it's treasonous that Putin's not supplying them enough armaments for the Wagner Group to fight. They want them to fight.
What about the Chinese getting involved?
Well, they were talking about sending them stuff. There's a number of articles saying China was contemplating sending them armaments, but now China's calling for there to be peace. China's kind of an interesting. They're a wild card in that they could support Russia, but if they support Russia, we'll start sanctioning them. Our economy will take a hit from it, obviously, but theirs will more. You know what I mean? Because, what's come about with Taiwan and Russia? Well, China's not the power player. They don't have the semiconductors, so they're not going to cut us from that. iPhones. Now Apple's trying to open up new iPhone centers outside of China now because of all this.
So, stuff going back to Vietnam?
I don't know. Right? It's like I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's just interesting. What the heck's going on in the world?
Well, here's another one. What's going on with those two brothers, the Tate brothers?
Oh yeah, so
have they gotten out of jail?
I don't
yet?
know.
Why are they still holding them in forever? They leave the United States, they leave London, they go to this backwards country.
They went to Romania.
Thinking that they can be above the law or do their own thing, and everything is dandy.
Wow. So
putting Romania on the map, and now they're being held indefinitely, 30 days at a time.
From the BBC, there's an article in the BBC that came out 4 days ago. Controversial influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have had their custody in Romania extended for a third time and will remain in detention until
it's ridiculous.
At least the end of the month.
Isn't he a U.S. citizen?
I don't know.
Yes.
Is he?
Yeah.
But they were. It was talking about human trafficking or something like that, or sex trafficking was what they were trying to get him on.
Trying to get him on anything.
Yeah.
But get him on something or let him free. I mean, you can't just keep people like that. That's messed up.
Well, I mean, we don't know. U.S. citizen. I'm looking it up. Is he a U.S. citizen? How many? Tate famously lives in Romania, a country that grants citizenship by naturalization to foreigners who reside there for at least 8 years.
He's a foreigner.
He is a former. Is a British-American social media personality, businessman, former professional kickboxer.
Here's a question: how many U.S. citizens are detained in jails around the world?
So here it is. Andrew Tate has both British and U.S. citizenship.
Locked up abroad.
Having been born in Washington, D.C. and raised in Lytton in England by his British mum.
So his father was American. His mother was Russian.
And he was born in Washington, D.C. So he's got English and... So, but obviously politicians aren't going crazy about getting him out. They're, when the women's basketball player,
Grainer,
when she was arrested in
Russia,
you think brain fart.
And there's another guy. There was another man,
but people were like, "We got to get her out." It was only for she had a pin, I think, right? A pin, a CB, or a weed pin or something like that,
or something. Yeah,
like a vape, but it was like marijuana though.
Yeah. There's zero tolerance.
Right. She said she did it for pain and all that, but zero tolerance. And everybody raised a deal about it. But is anybody raising a big thing about getting paid out? How many other
people are like that? They're just taken out of the lineup and kept in there for bribes.
I mean, I don't know Andrew Tate. I know who he is and all that. Don't know him personally, but you don't hear the same outcry for him as you did for her. Right?
Weird, yeah.
Because when she was arrested, there was a lot of outcry. And then when she was released finally, because we did a prisoner exchange...
Yeah.
Then the next outcry was well, if it's not a big deal for, she should be released for having a marijuana pin or whatever. What about the people in the United States that were arrested for that many years ago and that are still in custody?
Oh, yeah. Could they be?
I mean, depending on the quantity from back then, because, now more and more, there's personal use and all that now, right?
Yeah.
But Like for a while there, if you had any on you, they could arrest you. And
You know what I couldn't believe? I was driving to Mesilla last night. I went through one intersection, maybe stopped at a light before crossing under a bridge, and the car got infused with marijuana smell.
somebody pulled up next to you.
They must have been in front of me, or maybe it was a car next to me.
I just imagine like Cheech and Chong, like a smoked out.
So, where the van was full of them. The van was caught the van out of
Oh my God, that's
out of weed.
That's so funny,
vehicle.
dude.
But I'm just thinking, if I got pulled over at that moment and the officer sniffed and I smell marijuana.
Dude, I know
vehicle.
you go like somebody.
I just drove
somebody
past.
pulled a vehicle next to yours, and yours reeks of marijuana once they drive by.
I'm sure after passing such a vehicle, you're all. I feel funny. I'm high. Am I high?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, so it's been a year for Russia. Any predictions going forward regarding Russia?
They've got to end it. This is ridiculous.
It's
already
ridiculous.
been a year. I can't even believe it's been a year.
It's nobody's getting anything out of it. A couple of things I've read, right? A was like, it kind of confirmed that Russia is not like the military powerhouse everybody thought they were. Maybe 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. But now that technology has outpaced their military technology, it's not the same.
It's all corruption.
It's all corruption.
How do you think all those mega yachts and billionaires,
Right.
Russian oligarchs?
Yeah,
oligarchs,
absolutely.
They instead of buying food and supplies for their troops, they funneled it into their own companies, and they're all corrupt.
They're all corrupt, and not only that. So part of the deal was like Kherson, I think it is one of the towns out there, right? That Russia went into, where there's like a lot of Ukrainians that spoke Russian. They assumed that all those people would be like, oh yeah, the Russians are here. We speak Russian. They speak Russian.
No, but the Russian troops raped and pillaged and turned anity against them.
So anybody that you wanted to join, that you thought was going to welcome you with open arms, you've totally
alienated anybody.
Completely. They're like you've helped redefine their national identity. They're like, we're Ukrainian.
They're all thugs. They're all drunk thugs.
Well, no, let's be fair. Like a lot of soldiers on the ground are probably like just, some of them are professional soldiers, some of them are people that they're pulling in, right?
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of really
young
good
kids.
people.
I'm thinking there's a lot of
young kids, jobs, whatever. And then the guys in prison, they're like, okay, you come fight for us, and if you live, you can go free.
You survive. Yeah.
So you probably have guys thinking that's a good deal.
You survive 4 weeks at the front.
And then they kill you anyways, because if you make it back, then they're like, you didn't fight hard enough, and they'll execute you. That's going on too.
Really?
Yeah. So
what a mess.
So you can't say it's all thugs. Maybe on certain higher levels, you know what I mean? But as far as like you have to be empathetic to foot soldiers. Now you have foot soldiers. We did like in Vietnam that were committing crimes, but you have a lot of foot soldiers. Man, they're just there to do a job. They're in the military. They're conscripted, everyday people. If they don't go in the military when they're being conscripted, they'll be arrested for 15 some odd years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're not all thugs. And I've really thought about that lately. Like,
the fog of war.
The fog of war. Like a lot of poor Russians, that are out there fighting, probably shouldn't be out there fighting. They're probably thinking, God, we're here because what if America wants to invade us? And I've always thought this. We're the people saying like, hey, Americans don't want to go fight in Russia. We don't want Russia.
I don't want Russia.
Americans want to
They
stay in
have really
America.
shitty food. Why would we want Russian? What do they have to eat? Listen, what do they have to eat? Right?
I know, right?
There's nothing. It's like that. We would never want to invade Britain. They have, potatoes. That's it.
But yeah, but America, okay, it's the same thing with the Chinese. The same thing with the Chinese, right?
No, the Chinese food is better.
Chinese food's better.
Ching chong, ching chong.
But the reality is when the governments are telling us, America, they're going to come do to us what we did to Iraq. You know what? Americans don't want to go invade anybody.
Wait, Jeanette's got me a little distracted here.
Jeanette's trying to.
Her grasp is overwhelming.
I know, right?
It's slippery.
I flustered you. No, she has no grip.
Come on, Jeanette, get it going.
You're not going to be able to open it either.
Years of experience.
You can do it, Jeanette.
I believe in Dario.
There you
I
go.
think I...
No, remember, we changed our names to protect the innocent.
Oh. What are we calling you these days? To protect the innocent.
Michael Hunt.
Huh. So, what? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this works.
What was the greeting today? Hello, everybody. What's wrong? What's going on? What's going wrong?
I know. We're just having all sorts of issues today.
No.
What's going wrong?
What's going wrong today?
So,
Good morning, children.
Good
What's
morning.
going wrong?
So, okay. So, yeah. So the whole Ukraine thing, dude. And like I was just saying, Americans don't want to go fight. Yeah, we have a military and all this stuff. You want to stay home. You want your kids to stay home and go to school and have families. You know what I mean?
I have a idea. I have a belief.
What's your
The reason we're involved in all these things is because the military-industrial complex wants to sell their weapons somewhere, and the U.S. government wants to test them somewhere else.
I think that's a part of it too.
So they want to. Oh, let's test this
Let's test
new,
Jeanette.
cannon. Let's test this new weapon and give them.
There is truth to that.
Yeah, I bet. And they have to spend their money somehow. The budget has to be whatever. And
no, you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of there's a lot of talk about that.
Yeah.
And again, I was reading another article. I read Business Insider and New York Times and all this stuff. And there was one article I did see about the technology they're testing in Ukraine.
No, they're doing everything. I mean, the whole concept.
Logistics,
and then
satellites. Heck, even today, an article came out that Russians threatening to shoot down our satellites. Why? Game changer. We're seeing what they're doing.
That's an overt act of war.
That is.
You can't shoot down our satellites.
That is
they'll probably funnel it through some North Korean obscure, hacker that will use technology from the Russians or the Chinese.
Right.
Oh, what deliciousness is this?
Color.
Wow.
I'm not sure. It's like
Right.
lemonade is what
That is beautiful, Jeanette. Thank you.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
I'm sorry. What is your Irish name today?
What's
Did we
an
say?
Irish name?
Jeanette.
We were going to protect the innocent.
Oh.
I
Am
don't
I
know.
innocent?
So but yeah, so yeah. That one's strong. You're making a face. Dario looks like death.
He's got such a sad face.
I kind of have a face on my face. I have a face that kind of looks like if suddenly you blew into the asshole of a cat and it
kicked you in the
wafted
balls?
back at you.
Gave you a swift kick in the balls.
No, it's more of a, what is that obscure smell?
It's beer.
Is it-
Try it?
No, I'm gonna finish.
Oh, here. It smells
smells
disgusting,
horrible.
but here, do you want to try it?
I'm gonna have tequila.
This
with
milk,
Gatorade
Mark,
for a while.
this milk is a month past due in your fridge. What, can you taste it?
I know, right? So crazy. I was talking to you guys this morning, right? But
Try what? What'd you do?
oh, you mixed it.
Oh, that's it.
So,
I think it needs like some
I think it needs
banana
to,
liqueur.
but
No,
So-
no. It needed tequila.
okay. Well, Jeanette's
No.
mixing. Jeanette's mixing today. Last time
Well-
I mixed and mine were great.
I do have good news to share.
What's your good news?
Oh, was that the one you shared with me yesterday?
Yes.
Yes, share.
You saved 15% on your insurance by switching to
By
Geico.
Geico, yeah. No, my company got bought out.
Oh,
That's
right.
great news.
When's your last
I
day?
got
Oh, that's great
next week.
news.
Wow.
My company.
the
got
28th.
It's a massive merger.
Massive, not even merger.
It's just a
totally
buyout.
bought out.
It's
just
by
a
a
buyout.
company that buys ASLs.
Yeah, it's
So,
a venture capital company bought out
you-
my company.
Are you excited about it? Like,
Yeah, because I go with the new venture capital company, and they just offered me a position. So you are now speaking to. You better be more respectful now,
Oh.
because I am now.
You son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Wait, hold on. Before you say anything, let's disrespect you a little bit more.
Okay, I can't say it yet until after the
Hold on.
podcast. Then.
Right, what is
Son of
it?
a bitch.
No, I am now hired with a new company starting March 1st. And
3 days.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, 3
Great.
days. And it's going to be a director of marketing.
Hey, congratulations. Somebody
That is awesome.
recognized your accomplishment in your work and gave you something that you deserve.
And they don't have anybody else to do it. So, yes, perfect. Thank you very much.
No, I think that's fantastic.
And as
man.
soon as somebody figures it out, I'll get my ass fired again.
Okay, well, congratulations.
No, that's fantastic. I'm very happy for you,
No,
man.
the good thing is that, yeah, I'm continuing on, and it'll be interesting. I like change.
This is a beer. Lemonade is what this is.
Nice. Is it good?
Oh, he hates it.
You know, and it's curious. Let me just turn that off. It's curious because, okay, your good news. You got a new job.
Yeah.
Being part of
It's kinda
buyouts
fun.
and all that's kind of weird, right? Transition. It's not a transition where you
It's
go
an-
find a job that
It's
you
an
want.
interesting experience, though.
But
Yeah.
sure.
Your buyout is interesting because they're giving you a good opportunity.
Yeah, it'll
right
be
direction.
it'll be something new.
Like in our experience, like a lot of the buyouts I've been a part of was either we got rid of people or we just kept you in the same position. So it was like just a lateral transition.
right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we had a number of when we were bought out, I was tasked with somebody else. Me and her were tasked with letting go of like 40 some odd people.
Oh, that's so
That's
sad.
awful.
That's awful.
It happened, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's good to get like good news.
Yeah.
With that kind of thing, and it's kind of curious. Okay, we had a break in at my job this morning.
What?
We had the break in at my business.
Oh yeah.
And it's weird because it's a lot of effort.
We have to apologize to our listener
Yeah.
that we had a delay in start today because
the
there was a
break-in.
The
break-in.
break-in. There was
the
a
great break-in of 2023.
I find it fascinating, Mark, how they did that.
So okay, so they did it before, and they went through the same room as a utility closet with all the meters and all that.
They knew what they were doing.
So
though. Is it a
last
person on the
time
outside?
they did it, that utility closet's left unlocked because the city has to get in there. So we put a locking door handle. So they got something like a pipe to wrench the locking door handle and just wrench it over until it pulled the little latch enough. Yeah, and you could see where they were leaning against the door and everything. And they tried it on another door in the back of my building that doesn't, unless you have the key, it doesn't catch the door handle. So they tried that and they broke the door handle. Like, it's those metal handles, industrial handles, right? So they get into the utility closet. And the utility closet, it has that particle or that particle board or whatever it is, that compressed board that they use for the building structure. Burrowed through that again. Small hole.
So between the studs, they put like a hacksaw and cut the particle board out.
No.
They just
bashed through it.
Bashed through it. Oh,
And that's what they did last time too. And so last time they did it, there was a bigger hole. So we put 1/4-inch steel plating on the wall. But between the 1/4-inch plating and the other wall, the outer wall, the 90-degree wall, there's about that much space that the steel plating didn't cover. So they went through there.
So they found where the steel plating was not.
Well,
It just
because you see it,
seems kind of
it was
particular.
bolted
It
it
just
all.
Oh, you
seems
could
kind of
see.
weird that they it seems like they know what the hell they're doing. Are you sure
Yeah.
it's not people that already know?
If you
maybe
wanted to
ex-employees
get into a building, you can.
Or a new
It's,
I don't know,
if you want to get into a building, you can. Man, those birds are going crazy.
existing.
But so what's curious about this break-in and happening last time, nothing's taken. So even last time, we were doing like a little thing where we had money in cups, and they didn't take any of the money. It was
You
all
should
there.
hide some shit in the wall and be all, you son of a bitch.
No, and so they don't.
They
they
didn't
don't
take the money.
Notes.
So money's not. Even this time, we were looking around. Apple EarPods right there on the desk. They didn't take any of that stuff.
Wow.
I mean, because you think about it, you can't take a computer, you can't take a flat screen.
Was there
to
a
the pawn
laptop?
shop. Mine,
It was left there.
and it was there.
and they did go through my drawers.
They
They
went through your
did.
drawers.
My filing cabinets were all open. the drawer was open where they were just looking for something in there.
So they took all your porn?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No.
You're not your collection.
What I think it is, they think medical agency. They think there's probably gonna be narcotics in there. That's what I'm betting on.
So that's the only thing they would aim to get.
And so
But why did they stop and eat the cookies? Why did they stop and drink all the alcohol?
Right.
And leave the bottles? Did they dust the bottles for fingerprints?
No. Well,
Oh,
if there was alcohol, in there, right?
You're under the belief
I know, right?
that cops solve crimes.
But I know it's like, is there any alcohol in here? Do we have any drugs in here?
There's nothing there.
It's like there's no Vicodin in here. Oh wait, there's cocaine.
Like, why would they didn't stop to? They ate the cookie. Did they eat anything in the cafeteria?
Speaking of which,
did they take your collection of panties?
No, nothing, nothing. Like nothing was
Jeanette,
gone.
this
Everything
is a public
was open.
forum. Please
Like,
restrain yourself.
Everything was
Right.
open.
Everything was left open.
Everything was open.
What did
and
they leave behind?
Nothing.
Maybe they
Just
left
with-
cameras,
So
listening devices.
I'll do all that stuff. I'm gonna take.
Oh,
well,
you never
I
know
don't
about
know.
that. You should probably get someone to
Maybe
bug it.
maybe it's
the
my
competitor
maybe
made it
the
look like a
competitor-
robbery.
The competitor. Yeah.
They're gonna get all the trade
Wait a minute,
Uh,
secrets,
was all the dark chocolate
customer
taken?
lists.
Huh?
The dark chocolate?
No, there's candies in the kitchen. All there.
Okay, then it wasn't me.
So
That's bizarre.
That's the only thing I could
Not
think
me.
of. Okay, so again, because you think about like computer equipment, if you're gonna go get money from a pawn shop, by law you have to give all your information. You have to have an ID when you pawn stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like, and then like 10 years ago, before anybody had flat screen computer monitors, if you happen to get your hands on one, you could pawn it. But nowadays there's so many of them. Even if you pawned it, what are you gonna get? Like $10 for it?
Not
Do you-
even.
Do you know what I mean?
I haven't been in a pawn shop lately, but I don't think they have screens
No,
anymore.
And initially they did, but because the computer technology turned around so fast, they don't even buy that much computer technology unless it's like in immaculate condition like that flat screen there. You know what I mean?
That is a pretty good flat. Wow, I didn't realize that you had changed up the setup. Holy smokes. Why? I just now noticed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on
But,
up.
da-na-na-na.
I like
Moving
but-
that.
on up.
It's
Dun,
kind of
dun.
curious though, right?
Yeah, that's weird. What are they looking for? They didn't
I'm
take
willing to
anything
bet
else.
you they look for narcotics. It's a dark little alley. It's not patrolled. And then then it's funny that the alarm company calls me and I'm like turning off the alarm.
You know, there's a lot of homeless.
There are a lot of homeless.
I've noticed,
They
and then
live
there's
back
some.
there.
Actually, when I was driving on that road, there's homeless people in the corners around that area.
You know what? Okay, you know what I've noticed about the homeless people here, and you know what?
But they drank the booze.
They seem like they're
They-
organized. This like
you-
family of gypsies that live on the streets.
You know what's interesting, and I've noticed this lately.
They're not from around here.
Were they any signs of sleeping or
No,
covers or?
So
Sleeping
What's
bags.
curious about homeless people, and like
Stoves.
I say, I feel for homeless
Stoves.
people. If you're,
Oh, well, 100%.
Yeah.
But I think there's like organized, like they almost have like their own
maybe,
organization.
What are they gonna do? That's not, okay.
oh sure, get
They-
together. But I've noticed more Mexican homeless people in our town, even though we're close to the border.
I don't.
I've seen more because when I pull up and I'm looking at the signs they hold, they're more and more like all in Spanish.
I don't see that at
More
all.
and more in Spanish.
I don't. I see the people like that seem to be coming from Arizona or coming from
seen them too.
You know Montana. I mean, they don't look like they're from around here at all.
I've seen like Mexican, like they came from
No.
the people coming across. I've seen more of them.
I see people that are that seem to be coming in like they're
the
4x4 vans
I've seen that too.
and are parked trying to get gas money and then move on.
I've seen a guy that's a transient, and he's over like in this area over here at the Walmart.
There's
And,
a few that are just like
And
kind of the
he
same.
lives in his
people.
van.
Yeah.
In his van, he has like one of those old caravans, a green caravan, and in the back of his caravan, he has like a generator.
Yeah,
He even has like a little small solar cell he brings out.
yeah.
That's all he does.
He had
Just
he
pan-
had
And
a
panhandles.
homeless, he had a homeless plan. Everyone should have a homeless plan.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
So there's different levels. Homeless, yes.
Right.
Maybe for reasons,
So-
but then there's panhandlers.
There's
that
also
go-
people though that I've seen. I think that they're something mentally ill though.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
think-
that's
you see a lot
I think
of
you could
mental
be a
illness
homeless
too,
and you could be a
though.
panhandler, but I think you could also be not homeless.
And you could
still
be a
panhandler.
transient panhandler.
Right. Like you live in a house, but you don't work, go make some extra money. Maybe you're traveling, you need a little extra money. You know what I mean? So I think there's different
My
levels
heart
of
goes to the ones that have the dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or the ones
dude,
asking for
I know.
diapers. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
I've seen a couple of guys out
That
there
makes
like
me
with
sad.
roses, just selling roses. I always tip my hat to the people like, you're trying to do
Sell some chicle.
something.
Remember in Mexico
Yeah.
City, you know, they'd
Chiclets.
have something.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
pins with feathers on the tied to the back when they were selling them for $1. So I'm at like 10.
Wait,
So-
feathers
so
tattooed?
This morning,
No, like just pens, like, and then they put like feathers on the cap just to sell them because they needed the money. But it wasn't like a well. It wasn't a great job.
so this
But they were
morning
just trying
though,
to sell stuff.
no,
Right.
this morning I went to go
But
pick up the
it's-
ice.
It makes you sad.
And
So you're
there's-
like, you
It
buy
does.
'em.
Three panhandlers, one standing and two are leaning against the wall, and they're all on their cell phone.
What? Wow, that's
And I've also noticed over the past couple of years, more and more people that are panhandling, they may be homeless, they all have cell phones. Which came out of which administration?
the Obama.
Obama.
Gave
Obamacare.
free cell phones to people?
Obama phones.
Yeah,
It's
Obama phones.
it's like a benefit now. Like they still matter of fact they still call them Obama phones. They still set up and give you get you phones.
There's
Why?
an application. I used to have the application.
I mean,
for that
some
for the
people
longest
say
time.
it's your it's like a right that you have.
To have a cell phone.
Really?
To have
And so,
communication.
I
It's
was-
for-
My kids believe it's their right to have a cell phone.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
right. So-
wait, what was your name again?
I was
Marcus.
listening to an article about rights and what the founding fathers meant by rights. You know what I mean? Think about that.
What-
Human rights.
Human rights.
Not-
And so, what's a human right? So, is you having your cell phone, is that a human right?
No.
No, it's not.
But there are people that will argue that it is.
It's not. People. There was a time that you didn't
So-
have a phone, and it was okay.
So, is it a human right for you to go to your government and say, you have to take care of me?
Absolutely not.
I mean,
I think there's a right.
it's
I think
it's great that our government can do so, right?
I know, but I think that
Yeah.
basic human rights are like rights to not be mistreated,
Right.
not to be,
So, Our-
not the right to vote,
You
the
have
right
to-
to be acknowledged,
so
basically,
you
as
have
a
to
human
take
being.
it to context of them.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they were well educated on that they used to talk about, which I don't think we cover a lot anymore in our education, is natural law. Natural law. Do you know?
That's
what
what the founding fathers were referring to.
I mean? Right. What?
Certain unalienable rights.
So why did England outlaw slavery before the United States? Because of natural law. Because if a free man can breathe free air, and the air can be breathed by every means, that intrinsically means that even a slave breathing that same air must be free. That's the whole basis of like them. Maybe there's more to it, but that's part of the basis of them being saying like slavery's wrong.
I think it just comes down to basic human needs. We all have the same basic human
But
needs.
think about it though. No, think about it though. I mean, human needs, but you take it back to this whole natural law thing. What does that mean? I mean, were you taught about natural law growing up? Were you, Jeanette?
I think so.
No. Well, no. I mean,
And I'm not saying the law, like, okay,
I don't
so,
remember. I don't think so at all.
Look up what's the definition of natural law.
okay, that's a good place to start, right?
Let's start
Yeah.
out.
What is, oh, Jesus, what is natural law? So, yeah, I think that's a really good thing. And it says a body of unchanging moral principles regarded as the basis for all human conduct, an observable law relating to natural phenomena. So,
So initially, they didn't consider
natural law refers to law of morality
all men being
ascertainable
equal.
through human reason. Moral philosophers have posited that such laws are antecedent and independent of positive man-made laws. So an example of a man-made law is a well-accepted example of natural law in society is that it is wrong for one person to kill another person.
Well, yeah. People
it is
should
wrong for
enforce-
one
they
person
should
to
know.
own another person.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
I think everyone just wants to have the right to just be and exist.
Okay, so natural law is theory is based on the idea that natural laws are universal concepts are not based on any culture or custom. So regardless if you're from Mexico, United States, or Canada, you have the right to be free. You have the right to be able to buy property. You have the right to be able to get a job and provide for your family.
Right.
So it's universal. Universal principles. So what are these? So you think about universal principles. Do you have a right to a cell phone? Is that a universal principle?
No. Absolutely not.
Is it good to have? Yes. Is it sometimes really necessary? Because then how do you apply to things? How do you get called by your, an employer? How do you get in touch with? How do you get your benefits? How do you log in?
It's a convenience thing then. It's massively convenient.
Yeah.
So you think about all the things that people want that are, that they say are their civil rights they have a right to it. Like, and I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about what are the things that people ask for now. It's kind of weird though, right? It's interesting.
What are things that people ask for now?
Like that they say, I have a right to this.
Healthcare.
Yeah. Okay, healthcare.
I was just going to say that we're all in this.
Free drugs.
Is it a good thing to have? Some form of healthcare for people? Okay,
I think it's humane.
It's humane. Okay, it's humane.
It's humane to have people not be in pain.
Is it a universal concept then? Some people will argue that you're born naked, you're died naked. Nobody, when you were brought into this world, nobody said that you were going to get this and get that, like a cell phone, healthcare. Is healthcare good? It's good to have. Is it good to have Medicare? Because Medicare, like, it started with FDR, and a lot of FDR's deals that he did were ruled unconstitutional. But the two that they kept was Social Security and Medicare. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's a safety net for when you get older, right? Mm-hmm. And they have been good for older people and right now, right? Disabled. Right. But would it be a natural law that everybody has a right to? Is it a good thing to have? Yes. Especially because we all contribute, because we all pay our, FICA taxes and all that stuff that goes to it. So,
does every country have like Social Security
Mexico,
and Medicare?
Just look at Mexico.
Mexico does have a sort of retirement, do they not?
No, they don't. That's why you see old people, taxi drivers, they have vehicles. You see people selling
They do have a sort of retirement.
I don't think so.
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Yes.
I'm going to look it up now.
Yes, they do. Because
I know.
Most recently, I've known someone who wants to tap into their retirement, but they don't think that they can get it because they no longer live over there. So yeah.
Oops. A natural law has retirement. No.
Yeah, they have.
This is a good one. Does Mexico have a retirement system?
Law.
Here we go. Mexican reformed its pension system in 1997, transforming it from a pay-as-you-go defined benefit scheme to a fully funded private and mandatory defined contribution theme. So that means your employers have to pay for it.
If you're employed.
Yeah.
But if you have your own business.
And they will all receive 4,800 pesos every 2 months. So what's 4,800? That's 480. Every 2 months you get $240.
It's not a lot, but there's something.
Jesus. Oh my God.
$120 a month.
But wow.
Good luck.
And then in Colombia there was none either. And you saw a lot of viejitos selling what they could, like little hard candies. A lot. So talk about a blessing of the United States. We put a system into place to take care of our elderly.
I think they get
Social Security check.
Make a pact.
Huh?
That when we turn
45,
just pull the plug.
All right. Well, Dario, you're out. I'm gonna pull your plug, and I've got a couple more days to live. So
I thought you were gonna say something like, just make sure that give me alcohol with my meds. I mean, geez, that's
Dario. You ready to go? You ready to jump out the airplane, Dario?
Let's just jump out of the airplane. Do you need the ripcord or not? Not today.
I'm gonna be there with a little wire snipper, snip the ripcord. All right, later, dude. Oh, you forgot to take the ripcord.
I can't reach.
Where's the ripcord? What the hell?
You son of a bitch!
You said let you go.
I changed my
mind. But I changed my mind.
Oh my God!
Not yet.
Do we need a circle around? Nah, he'll be fine.
This is how we wanted it, dear friend.
So,
as he wipes a tear away.
There's a story from World War II about a guy who, I don't know if I told you this. He's an American bomber. He's in an American bombing plane. I don't know if it's the B-19. It had to be like a B-19 Flying Fortress because they didn't have the Super Flying Fortress in Europe. That was more in the Pacific Theater. But I believe his plane was hit, and he jumps out, and
without a parachute,
no,
just
with it, but
jumped.
the parachute didn't, or maybe it was without it. Either it didn't deploy or it was without it.
Yeah.
And it didn't deploy. If he had it, didn't deploy. If he went without it, it didn't have it. I don't remember that. But I remember he landed in snow.
Oh.
And he survived because the snow was fresh snow. And just
So it was like a cushion. I wonder how.
And he was captured by the Germans. And the Germans, like, revered him. Like, you fell from the sky and you survived. Like, they told all his story. This, like, we had the
Right before he went to the gas chamber.
That's so.
Of all of you.
Oh, he survived, so we need to kill him first. So this.
I know, right?
We make it count.
Could you imagine that? Because when you're like, okay, you and I, we've jumped, right?
Yes.
And okay, so and I tell people this about skydiving. It's surprising when you skydive because everything from TV's wrong. Like Keanu Reeves in that movie,
Point Break.
Point Break.
Yeah.
They're talking as they're coming down. No, you pull the record. No, you pull the record. 3 minutes into it, like da 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 da. They're all talking about it. Man, this is crazy. You better do it. They're still talking.
Carried away.
And then not only that, when
Sound
you
is
jump,
carried away.
you can't hear anything. It's so it's like going at 120 miles down the interstate with your head outside the window.
Oh God.
It's so loud, and then it goes so fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so we jump at a higher altitude than the airborne do.
How
Oh,
do you-
really?
And it, I mean, if you do it solo,
Because we like the
without
free fall.
tandem, but how do you know at what point? I mean, I'm
There's
sure there's like
a gauge.
Altimeter.
I was gonna
Altimeter.
say there's like I'm sure you lose track of time and
There's a tampon you strap to
A
your
tampon.
wrist, and depending on
oh my God.
no, it's an altimeter.
Speaking of tampons, did you find the ones I left you?
Yes, jerk.
Did you leave him tampons like in his
Remember
nightstand?
you were there.
Speaking of tampons,
What?
Speaking of tampons,
I was there. Where?
in the news this week. In the news this
I
week.
wasn't. I had nothing to do with
So
it.
that's an awesome conversation. Speaking of tampons,
Oh, I think.
But,
Oh, actually, I think I was
so
here.
Spain passed legislation, first ever, and then Mexico followed suit like 3 weeks later. Spain passed legislation giving all women menstrual leave every month.
Oh, nice.
And then Mexico passed a law too now.
Nice.
All women get like 3 days menstrual leave.
Hell yes.
So how long?
That is
How
super
long?
exciting. No,
how
I'm
long?
serious.
How long
It's
is it going to be
super
until they come into
exciting.
effect here?
Oh, I hope it happens soon.
I mean, granted, Spain's a very liberal country.
Equal rights. They won't happen here because then men are going to complain and say,
But the way,
"Well,
but the climate of politics right now.
they won't
Not
do
at
it.
the Isle
Never.
of Man.
It'll never
Not at the
happen
not at the
because
Isle of Man,
women
they won't.
have fought so hard to have equal rights. They
But
won't.
even women are thinking differently than they did in the 60s. Do you know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
no, 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 no. Stop, back
No,
up.
no, no,
because-
no, no, no.
No, 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 no.
That sounds like a song.
Sounds like a song.
Na,
I
na,
know.
na, 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 na.
do, 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 do.
Wait a minute. No, but first of all, like now, don't men get maternity leave?
They can.
Paternity leave.
Maternity.
There's some companies. that'll give you
They get
puppy
paternity
leave.
leave.
Some companies will give you
paternity.
puppy leave. If you get a new
Puppy
puppy,
leave?
you get puppy leave.
You know what? I think that's awesome.
You shut your mouth.
Anytime anybody gets leave, it's good.
You know, it's good. People work
Think of
hard.
paternity, not
It's,
maternity.
it's
Paternity.
a time in our lives. There's a
Puppy
lot of
leave.
stuff going on. People work hard.
Did you know that some companies outside of New Mexico, that if you quit, you lose your PTO?
Yeah.
You have to give a certain amount of notice.
So
In order for you not to lose that.
in New Mexico, because of the new sick leave law, they do not have to pay out your PTO anymore.
What?
Yeah. Oh,
They don't have to pay out your PTO?
you should look.
I don't even know if
policy.
that was a law before.
Look at company policy to see what your company policy
So
is.
you have
For
to look
now,
at your company policy.
Yeah,
So if
because
you put
there
in your
is
le-
I have to put in a month notice
So,
in
yeah,
order
you-
for me to
Was
keep
it 1
my-
month or 2 months?
No, it's a 1
Is
month.
it 1
so
month?
far. 1
Yeah.
month. In order for me to
Yeah.
get paid out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So you give your notice. They say, thank you very much for your notice. You don't have to come in tomorrow.
Then they should
But
give
they
you
won't
severance.
pay you out for another year.
They have to give you severance. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say that? Yes, I did.
Whoa, Jeanette.
Bullshit.
Do they have to give you severance though? They give
But
you.
if you put in your notice.
No. So when you're
if
let
you
go
put
from
in
a
your
company,
notice-
That's when they give you
when you're let go
severance.
when you're let go from a company, they give you severance in lieu, because you have to sign off on this saying, yes, I'll accept this in lieu of going to an unemployment. That's why they give you severance. So you can't take them to court for anything. So you're signing a waiver saying you're not going to take legal action. You're not going to seek counsel, and it'll actually, like, if you get unemployment, they can submit that. No, we gave them severance.
Oh my goodness! I think we need to
We
have
need a
a
lawyer.
business. Have a business just based on unemployment.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good business.
It's kind of interesting.
Anyway,
right?
this is taking a dark turn.
It is taking
I know.
a dark
Let's go back to
turn.
something happy. Were we talking about the Ukraine? No, what about the Irish jigs?
Oh, I thought we were talking.
Let's talk about the Irish.
Let's talk about something happy.
An
I thought we
Irish
were
pub.
talking about-
Why do we not have an Irish pub in Las Cruces?
You know where I want to take this?
We need an Irish pub here.
We
They
did.
did have one, but
They
they
did.
They,
It was too far away. It was like up the hill.
It was freaking
But
too far.
Okay, so I want to take this somewhere else.
Flanagan's.
Flanagan's.
I follow a YouTube page, and let me see if I can find it because it comes up now.
Babes Gone Wild.
I know, right? No, Jeanette. So Jeanette turned me on to this one Instagram page.
Oh, which one is it?
Ooh.
It's called Scammers United.
Oh, I love that one.
And so I found a page
What do
on
they do?
YouTube. Well, I found a page
What
on
is-
YouTube, and it's called Scammers Payback.
oh no,
And
but that's
this is
it. Could
interesting.
also be a scam too.
So
there's
they
a-
call the
there's a-
scammer
they-
and they
So there's
wipe out their
there's
data?
scammers on, they call you, they try to take your money, or they try to entice you like, hey, I'm the stud.
Your
I'm
card,
a
your
stud.
card is about to be
Yeah.
warranty is about to
I'm
be
a stud.
expired.
I'm
So-
a stud. Do you want this?
So the one on YouTube,
Send me money if you.
or no,
that's
the one
prostitution.
on Instagram, they always do like lives where they talk about the stuff they're doing, but they post like stories about people. The one on Instagram, they post stories about who's scamming or what they stuff. The one on YouTube that is called Scamming Payback.
Ooh,
They'll actually let the scammers scam them, and then they'll change their voice, so you don't know you're talking to a guy. He sounds like an old lady. And so when the scammers are trying to get access to your computer, because that's what they try to do, is like, okay, ma'am, we gave you back too much money. If you log onto this link, I can get a refund, so you pay. I won't lose my job. They do stuff like that. And so then they get control of your computer, and then when you're putting in your information, they have all your information. So this guy lets them do that, so he can get control of their computers.
Oh, interesting.
And it shows it like on this site on YouTube called Scamming Payback, and it's like, all right, we got their name. Their name is such and such, and they live in Bengal, and they start, and when he's talking to them, because his voice sounds like an old lady, he's saying, oh, he'll start saying like random things based on what he's pulling off their computer. Oh, my husband hasn't, or he was saying like, I love to go eat at this one place in India.
Because they have his records of his
Oh,
what he-
Yeah,
so,
that
they'll
is.
have, like, a
they
picture
start
of
to
it.
mess with them
Yes.
by like they get this information to
And
carry
so-
a conversation to kind of
And the
mess with their
scammer will
mind.
be like, "Oh, what was your husband's name?" And they'll look into like their records and be like, they're talking to this one girl, and it's like, "Oh, my husband, his name," and they give the name of her boyfriend,
Oh,
and you can hear the scammer like, "Oh, and are you from India? You know Indian or something?" You go, "Oh, that was many years ago, sweetie." Da, 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 da. It's really cool to watch, and eventually by the end of it, the scammer, the people doing the scamming, they realize they're talking to a hacker.
oh,
And they're like, "Oh, you're really good. You're really smart." Or they're like, "You son of a bitch." And they say, "You effers."
Right,
It is like
right.
super interesting to watch.
Oh, what is
These-
it called again?
it's like watching a train wreck.
Ooh,
Ready?
Right.
Yes, that sounds
So
amazing.
You know there's going to be a crash, but you don't know how many cars are going to get piled
the
up.
web
You never
page
know what's
is called
exactly gonna happen.
Scammer Payback, and that's what these guys do.
Scammer
And
Payback.
there was another one, and I don't remember the page, where they try to get the information and forward it to the police out there. Because in like India, it's not legal to scam people, but they're like legit businesses you have to have like evidence to show that they're scamming, so that the police will raid them. And so there's people. Oh, that one guy on here that used to work at, or he works at NASA. He what's his name? There's a guy on here that
the NASA down the street here.
No, yeah, and he does things like he like what do you call that foam, that color foam that comes out of like balloons, or like when people are having like a kid reveal, a baby reveal, and they use like that foam, like a blue foam or a pink foam. It comes popping out like foam.
I don't know.
I never heard of foam.
And they like, it's a foam that like when it's a kid reveal, you pour in the mixture and it comes out, and like if it has blue dye in it, it comes out like blue, like
wow.
It'll hit me in a minute. So he makes like the world's biggest one, a big one, and it's amazing.
Does he ship it to the scammer's place? They open it and it blows up in their face?
This guy, what he does is interesting. Like, he does cool stuff like that. He built like a balloon that had a GoPro that he was trying to drop a rock in and predict where it was. He does really cool stuff. But he did one an episode on scammers because they're scamming deals in India. And so he sent like a package there, like an official like mailed package that was like a fart machine. And he got like industrial grade like fart aroma. That was like really bad. And then he sent another one that was like mega decibels alarm that goes off. He had another box he shipped out there. No, he had people that helped him. And so he had like somebody that went in there, and in their water bottle, there was like cockroaches. And so the person would put the bottle, they'd put the water bottle down, and then a certain amount of time it would open by itself, and like all the cockroaches would come out. So he does like things that won't harm them, because that's not good.
Right.
Or that one thing on the
but
dark
it'll
web
be
where
revenge.
You can get gnomed.
Yeah.
Get gnomed.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen that? Where
Get gnomed?
What's that?
It's like where you can have a revenge by getting these people to basically gnome their house. Mm-hmm. And like it's like obsessive ridiculous.
Really?
Outside or inside and then they just like guarantee that that person that they want to get revenge on will get gnomed.
So it's not like a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but it's a little eerie because like how do they know where I live, and how do they get inside my house? Right. It's an invasion of privacy, and it's super freaking annoying.
Right.
Then the more when you remove them, if you remove a gnome, they multiply. So like if you remove a gnome, 2 will come back, or 3 or 6. It just multiplies. So as you remove them,
so people go back to the house and drop off gnomes?
They just like in the middle of the night, all of a sudden they wake up and they have gnomes everywhere. And then they try to remove them because they're annoyed by it, and then more come back.
Sounds like a good way to get shot.
It's a...
But...
Gnome no more.
But I will not be gnomed anymore.
It's interesting that he does...
Meet my little friend.
This guy does stuff, though, like that, so that it's he's not hurting anybody. But then they actually try to get evidence to send to the police over there, so the police will raid, and they actually got like one call center shut down.
Oh.
Yeah, because they come up as legitimate businesses, but then they have it's like if
a subsection of the.
It's like if you and I have like a pizza company,
and in the back we have trafficking,
selling drugs. So we have people, and we have
our servers are do tricks in the back.
People come in on the front end, they're buying
pepperoni.
Pizzas, but then you get a special caller, and they say the special word like
mozzarella.
Hey, I want to get like the special
extra sauce,
and
extra sauce.
Bell pepper.
But how crazy, right?
Oh, right this way. We have your table in the back, and it's a massage table instead of like a dining room table.
It has to be a weird thing. Like, could you add pepperoni oil with sausage or something weird?
I seriously was looking up this old park to go search for treasure. And on the map, I looked up like a 1950s map of like an aerial reconnaissance thing of the whole thing of this old town. Right. And then I superimposed it on top of Google Maps. And of course, Google Maps has all the places of business. And one of the places of business that was right on the area that I wanted to go was a Chinese massage parlor.
Oh my God.
Where are we? What have we gotten to? What's happened here?
I'm trying to find the name of that foam that they can.
What's happening with your drink? It turned into like weird beer water.
Slush.
It looks like urine, but it tastes great.
It's Gatorade.
I'll finish it off here in a minute. So yeah,
All right.
so the scammer website that messes with the scammers is really cool.
All right. I think we need more.
Yeah, that's a train
Either
wreck.
a beer
You know what I
or-
mean? Because you know what sucks about the scammers? They prey on older people.
Well, of course.
You know what I mean? And these older people that don't understand
weak and
phones
infirm.
and all that. You know what I mean?
The
And
more,
Do you want
and so the guy.
I think I'm okay.
So the guy from NASA.
beer.
I'm okay. I have to go to El Paso.
So the guy from NASA, he did his thing because an old lady that he knew, she didn't have a lot of money. She had like something like 15,000 in savings. That was all her money, and these scammers took it all.
God, I hate that.
That sucks.
So that was like
They
his.
deserve a special place in hell
They do, and so they
when they prey on the weak
and people
bullies.
we more or less grew up with the internet. Like all right, but somebody
Yeah.
that grew up like way older than us. My mom or dad, my mom doesn't know anything about the internet.
Don't you probably get emails all the time? Is this for real? Is this for real? And I said, look, if you have to ask me if this is for real, treat it as a scam. Don't answer it.
Not for real.
Right.
Don't forget it.
Oh, and then okay.
Income tax.
So
scammers.
I was reading an
Oh
article.
my God!
So all
That's
sorts of.
going to start happening with income taxes.
I mean, how much do I work? How much do I work if I'm reading all these articles? But I was reading an article.
It's all after
How much do you
hours.
work?
Nigeria. The police raided a building, and they found something like $40 million in pallets in a building,
Oh my god.
Cash.
and
Wow.
they're
How?
and the response they said was like the Nigerian prince that is always telling you that you have like this much money in
Is he
inheritance,
Not the freaking Nigerian prince.
and they're I know, but they're
God.
saying. Could we have stumbled upon something where the people that fell for it and gave them so much money
That's how much they've got.
but they found a
cashed it.
building and they didn't know whose money it was, but they're like, how funny if this would be it. So
Jeez.
like these people that are doing these scams, this is all their money and we came across it.
The Nigerian prince.
Yeah.
Into
Like
my eyes.
It all started when you've won the
become
Publishers Clearinghouse
I'm like,
sweepstakes.
Ice water.
you know what? And then the emails are getting good. Like I get emails.
My
all the
font,
time.
the font that I get
Wait, can
are
I-
always messed up.
Taste your-
Yeah. So what's interesting is like the emails I get, they're really like the phishing emails. You know what a
Oh
phishing
no,
email?
I don't even.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Because I get
the fonts are all screwed up. They all look
they're-
like something
they're getting
from
good.
Turkey or something
'Cause-
like that.
First of so I get like
Skrillex.
How do they get?
I get like because I have like these
The
little
phishing ones you get are probably, "Hi, how have you been?"
no. It's like from Amazon. Like
Work there.
Jeanette's going to do lady stuff. So
It's
yeah, go do your lady thing. So what happens is that you say you have Amazon, right? I don't know. You probably have the short cord. So say you have an Amazon account, right? So you get like an Amazon email saying like, hey, there was like
ice water.
your password changed to your Amazon account. Go ahead and click this link and log in to reset it. And the
I hate
email,
those.
it looks really good. And what happens on an email, the sender could even mask their email address to say like Amazon.com. So you have to be super careful about that.
Just don't use it.
So whenever I get an email like that, I'll just delete it. But I always go into my Amazon account on my phone, the app. I only use the app. I won't go on. I'll delete those emails because like they're good. They look good. And I have like a Bitcoin account. I have like a stock account. I have all this stuff.
What's happened with Bitcoin?
It's doing good right now.
Has it all just disappeared? In the
it's still-
ether.
It's still there. It still goes up and down. The U.S.
Is anybody still doing that anymore?
Yeah.
Really? You don't hear
Dogecoin.
it anymore. You hear
It's-
about the exchange with
Now
Sam.
You could look it up. You could look it up, and there's people that are like, "Now's the best time to get in, and we're making millions of dollars." And you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, right.
but it's still, I'm still getting returns. Like it's still growing. You know what I mean? So when the whole thing came out with that one guy where
Dogecoin.
No, what was the other one where he had a Bitcoin company?
Sam.
Sam, what's his name?
From the Bahamas.
Yeah, and during that period,
That was an exchange.
Yeah.
So if you had your own Bitcoin independent from that, then you were okay.
Is
But
it Samuel?
if you had it on if you use a stock market, like
I think it was Samuel Eckert. But basically, he when all that went on, you saw a lot of movement with Bitcoin. Like a lot of the Bitcoins that week, the value just crashed, but it's all rebounded back.
why?
People still use it. Like scammers like to use it, right? Because it's really hard to trace.
It's really hard to value.
And then because it doesn't have borders,
It's only as good as somebody where they willing to buy it.
So if you think about it, right, you could be in Mexico and you could buy something American goods with Bitcoin, and you don't have to like the whole exchange fees or anything like that, right? The exchange rates, if a company
Peso to dollar,
and all that.
What is the exchange rate nowadays?
It's like 21 to 2 or something like that.
God, I remember when it was 17.
Yeah, no, it's like, or no, it went the other way because $20 used to be 500 pesos, but lately 500 pesos is like around $18. So it's kind of gone down.
Okay.
But so like Bitcoin, you could forego all that, right?
Yeah, it just goes. It's an exchange.
And because it's not like a Swiss bank or Bank of America,
Nobody can trace it.
It's hard to trace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but it's still there, and because you don't have the centralized banking, you avoid all the banking fees. And all that.
How can you wash money into Bitcoin?
Like you just basically just transfer it into your Bitcoin wallet. A wallet
so
like your bank
let's say you transfer, $200,000 of illicit gains into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Who do you give the $100,000 to?
It goes to your Bitcoin wallet.
So you
buy
take $100,000, you deposit it into a bank account. You can't. You have $100,000 cash sitting in your
bank account.
From
so suddenly you buy Bitcoin.
Selling drugs.
Yeah, you buy Bitcoin.
So where do you give the $100,000 of cash to buy Bitcoin?
You put it in your bank account.
Traceable.
Right.
Pay taxes now. You don't want to do that.
But then you transfer it to Bitcoin.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to put $100,000
because you have to have a way to transfer it to Bitcoin. So unless there's a way like an ATM.
How do they launder money with Bitcoin?
I mean, like, because I with my bank account, with my PayPal account, with all these other accounts, I could buy Bitcoin. So you have to get it into one account to put it to Bitcoin. But once it's in Bitcoin, it can get lost.
But think of like the drug, dealers that have hundreds of millions of actual physical bills.
So
sitting in their.
So they put it into a Mexican banking account.
They bring $100,000 into a Mexican
Bancomex or whatever it is.
Banamex.
So you're avoiding the American bank accounts. So
they go across the border with $100,000.
Yeah. A Swiss account, which is a numbered account, right? Cayman account, which is a numbered account. And then from there, you transfer to your Bitcoin wallet. So you're avoiding.
I think you're already starting behind the gun. You can't.
You're avoiding.
You can't declare that $100,000 in cash.
So So if you have a bank like a Cayman Island or a Swiss account, that's a numbered account.
You have to fly to the Cayman Islands with $100,000.
Yeah,
hand it over in a plastic bag.
You go through customs. Like if you go through customs here with that much money, they'll stop you. But
if you leave the country with $100,000 in your suitcase, will they stop you?
In the foreign countries, I imagine you would just put it in your suitcase and send it over there. Nobody will think the wiser.
If you come here with $100,000, you have to declare $10,000 or more.
Yeah, and they'll stop and you'll actually check your suitcase here. The customs here will actually check your suitcase.
But if you leave, will they? Let's say they check your suitcase. I'm here to make a deposit.
Every time I go to Mexico and I put
Go on, man. You can join the island. Go to the beach.
You can do it. But every time I go to Mexico and I check my luggage in an airplane there, yet to have it checked.
That you know of.
They just check it and it goes in.
That you know of.
What's Jeanette making?
I'm going to make you a beer lemonade is what it is.
Beer lemonade. So Bitcoin is the way to it's the way to launder money, right? It's got that.
I don't think so. I don't think so. everybody says how. Okay, first of all, two movies that I saw this week that you got to watch: American Animals.
You're a freaking animal.
It's about a bank robber. It's not a bank robber. It's about students wanting to steal rare books at their college campus. Rare books like first edition of Charles Dickens or of Audubon,
which are worth a lot of money.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they're
it's
worth
like
a lot of money.
The original paintings of something or another. So on college campuses, all they have is a librarian guarding these things, right? So they devise the plan, the whole thing, and how quickly things can go south.
Right.
So that's a good movie. The second movie is Cloverfield. Have you seen this one with John Goodman?
Yes. There's like a whole series of Cloverfield.
That was what? I don't know, but that one just blew me away. It was like some address, 10 Cloverfield Lane or something like that.
Yeah.
Some guy had a prepper had a bunker.
10 Cloverfield Lane. So that's related to the Cloverfield series.
So don't say anything about the ending, because it's like one of those M. Night Shyamalan Sixth Sense where it shifts and you had no idea that was where it was going.
There's like 3 or 4 movies related to that. Like 10 Cloverfield. You have Cloverfield the movie.
Extraterrestrial stuff?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, like Cloverfield's about that alien. And there's another another movie about where they go into outer space. And that's related to that. And the other one. And they open like a wormhole. And so like in this one movie, the astronaut, her family dies. But then she goes into the wormhole into the alternative universe, like to save Earth. So they go to the alternative universe. In that universe, the astronaut's family is alive, but in that universe, she's dead.
Oh, weird.
So she wants to stay there because her family's there. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes back as being alive.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up
she goes back.
Or imagine this one. Here's really messed up. She goes back to an alternate universe where her alternate existence is there. She kills that person because her family is still alive in that alternate reality.
So it's called the Cloverfield. All right. So Cloverfield's the movie. The one that's the original one with the alien in New York.
That one was
the monster.
One. I like that one.
That was
cool.
It
wasn't really good. It was interesting.
It was like the Blair Witch Project, where it's like from the first person perspective, like he has a camera. It's called Cloverfield. It's called Cloverfield.
Which one is that?
This looks super urine-y color.
It's called Cloverfield, and what it is like something lands or something in the ocean.
Nice.
And it attacks New York.
Wait, hold on.
It's called Cloverfield.
Oh.
So then you have 10 Cloverfield Lane. Mm-hmm. It's part of the same series. But then you have the Cloverfield Paradox.
I had no idea that that's a whole different.
And so the Cloverfield Paradox.
Same directors?
Right. So yeah, right. So the Cloverfield Paradox, I actually haven't seen it, but what it is like it opens up like a world hole or something, and that's like the basis of the other two, where like something else comes through the wormhole.
Oh, that's nice. That is freaking nice. You want to try it?
So that's called the Cloverfield Paradox.
Try that one. I'll make you one.
No, it's okay. I have to go home at some point.
So that's like the Cloverfield kind of series thing. Do you know what I mean?
Tasty.
It is tasty.
So that
those are some good movies.
So you have to watch the other two also.
I've been watching a lot of movies at night. Now that I don't have a class, I'm all done with school.
So when you're free at night, you watch movies, because I usually end up at
I should do something like
place where you can buy hookers.
No, I should do something like you do.
I thought everybody does that.
No, you go to the gym. That's what I should be doing every night.
Go to the gym.
I should be going to the gym.
I go see a trainer. Okay,
this whole week I'll start with you. I'll be like.
I go 3 times a week. You can go with me.
What would Mark do?
Okay, so you guys have known me for a long time now.
Yeah.
Many years.
Oh wow.
So over like the year before COVID.
Longer than I'll admit.
Dun dun dun. So it's kind of interesting because I've talked to a number of people about this. So about the year before COVID, I started getting back pain.
The year before when?
COVID.
Wow.
And my hips were tightening up. Yeah. It was starting to bother me, but didn't hurt. And then the year of COVID, my back really started to hurt, and my hips really started to hurt.
We know why, Mark.
Those Chinese ladies?
No. No.
Well, let me go on. Let me go on. So they start hurting more, right? They start hurting more. Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
weight, because I lift a lot. I
It's
probably lift
your squats.
I lift a lot more than I should lift.
Yeah.
So so the pain keeps growing. And matter of fact, that first year of COVID, like that December, the pain was getting so bad, like getting out of bed, it was I had to like roll to the edge of bed, throw my feet off the bed. It was bad.
Because you were working out so
Bad
much.
form. In bad form. I mean, I related to like a lot of bad form on my part. So I've been dealing with this, and you've seen me walk when I walk with a limp, and for a while there it was getting really bad.
Wait a minute. I saw you walk, and didn't I tell Jeanette?
Yeah, you did.
I said something about him looking like an old man.
Yep. That was
Because he was stiff,
That was
leaning.
last time we met.
Try mine. So I started seeing
Wow, look at
So
this.
I go to different people. People say go to this chiropractor. I've tried that. I went to acupuncture guy, but I didn't like the acupuncture. But went to see like different like massages,
This is
chiropractors.
tasty.
Only
You
thing
like
I didn't
that?
get done with it was
do.
the only thing I didn't get done was like MRI.
Right?
So and even that recent. In about December, I was thinking maybe I'm going to go get an MRI, get cortisone shots, and start going that
Oh,
route.
that's a green beer.
That's a green beer.
St.
That's an Irish beer.
Patrick's Day. That is an Irish beer.
St. Patrick's Day beer.
That is,
Drink of Dario showing everybody my green drink. I've been
dude,
making.
that is
That's
the one
good,
for
right?
St. Patrick's
That's
Day.
really good.
It's the Midori. And
Okay,
the,
so what did you find out?
so nothing new. Nothing new. I did go when I was when I did go to Monterey. I did see a chiropractor that just he manipulated my body hard and popped it in more ways than I can admit. I had dry needling
What
done.
was her number?
Dun, dun, dun.
I
So
tried
I had
to-
I had dried needling done.
I could fake it too.
So the dried needles.
Oh, I had noodling too.
Ooh,
dry noodling.
Dry needling?
That sounds
Are you
terrible.
kidding me?
They get needles like this long that are
sounds
as thin
terrible.
as your hair
And they put it in.
and your muscles.
Oh, well, that's like acupuncture. What
It's
are you
like
talking about?
acupuncture, but it's not acupuncture. It's called dry needling.
They
And
clean
it's
the-
force. It's a force to get your muscles to try to like start healing, like to stop tensing so much and start recovering. And the whole time she's doing it, I'm laughing. And she's like, you have to stop laughing. You have to relax. I can't help it.
Is tickly?
For me, it was. And I think it was because she put her hand on my
On your
thigh,
back?
on my legs.
It was on your. Where on
You're
your
like
legs?
giggling like a schoolgirl?
through my hamstrings and all that
On the front of your legs.
on the back. Well, she did the front and the back.
So you laid on your back on a table.
Yeah.
What's her degree in? What's her license?
I don't know. It was in Mexico.
So you had these through your scrotum?
I will neither confirm.
Was she fondling?
I will neither confirm or
As
deny
she
the
noodled
allegations.
you and noodled you.
And she was attractive, and she was tough.
So no wonder you were laughing.
She was attractive, and she goes, "Okay, I need you to undress and get on the bed." Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Dry
And,
noodling, though.
No, sir. It's actually a shot in the arm,
And she was
not on
telling
your
me, she
buttocks.
goes, "It's if it hurts, just ignore it. That's your body working,
That's your
but
body
you need to
rejecting it."
relax." But I laughed the whole
Take it.
time.
It's like having a.
And I told her, I told her, I go, I'm trying to stop laughing. She goes, don't try, just stop.
Oh.
Where'd you have this done? Sounds like a Russian.
No, she was a beautiful Mexican woman. She had that dark hair,
Don't-
dark eyes. She was beautiful. And I was like,
Don't try, just stop. Wow.
I had
besito.
a certain person there with me. I was like, can you leave the room? So, but anyways, I had that. Oh, and she told me, she goes, for the rest of the day, your body's gonna hurt, but you'll feel better tomorrow. The rest of the day, where she did the dry needle, it felt like somebody just punched me as hard as they can, like all over my butt, my thighs, and everything. It freaking hurt. Then the day after, felt great.
Perfect.
Just like she
Wow.
said. So, anyways, I had that done, and then in January, I got with a personal trainer, and I tell this guy's like, I knew him. Matter of fact, he owns a gym in town where there used to be like a Gold's Gym. He has
Oh,
he owns
yeah.
a gym. He owns a gym there now, and I went to go see him. I was like, look, dude, I'm not getting anything out of the gym I'm at right now. My body hurts. I think I have a lot of muscle deficiencies. I'm not strong. And he goes, come by and come see me, and we'll come like 3 times a week, and we'll do this. And we start working just standard gym stuff. not CrossFitting, not anything else. Just working on strengthening my muscles back up. My back pain has gone down to like a 0 or a 1.
Dude, that's great.
From out of a scale of 10, every day I was living at a 12, 13.
I didn't see you limp today, honestly.
It's gone down to a 0 or 1?
That's really
my back.
Good.
My hip pain from like where it was hurting, it hurt to stand up. Like it would hurt to walk.
How is the waking up? Because you told me once that it takes you forever to get up out of bed because you have to
because it hurt so much.
Warm up to the idea of getting up out of bed.
I had to roll to the edge of bed and throw my
dude.
I can jump out of bed now.
Nice.
But so my hip pain, it's down to about a 2 now, and for a while there, my hip pain was bad.
Oh wow!
Like seriously bad. Now
you
he's
have to continue to
now he's telling me, he goes, you need to ease off the weight because you're trying to go too heavy right now. He goes, just do what you can do right now, and because he's like you're still. He goes, your mentality, you want to push more weight. He goes, kind of take it easy on the weight. He's like, you were trying to fix you. He said it'll come, but just seeing a guy that knows about he's not a kinesiologist, he's not a PT,
He's not a PT,
but just strengthening your core muscles and working those groups, it's kind of changing my life again. I've been getting the urge again to go running, and I didn't want to run for a while because it hurt so much. Now I'm feeling like I could run again. I was jumping the other day. I used to not be able to jump at all.
Jumping rope? What do you mean?
Jumping up to a pull-up bar to pull myself up. And it used to hurt. I would still get a little bit of pain, but not like it used to be. It's slowly going away as we're strengthening stuff up and fixing those imbalances.
Wow, that's good.
That's awesome. that is really good.
And just I still do CrossFit. I'm still by the time between CrossFit and that, but even going to CrossFit, I'm lifting more weight again.
Yeah,
but doesn't that counter to what he was saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to.
No, because I'm not going crazy heavy.
Okay.
I'm still working within my working range of where I used to be, but it was just so easy. My friend's like, dude, you just threw that up. And I was like,
okay, next week.
Yeah.
I'll start, Mark.
It just felt good. It feels good, and I'm liking the way I'm starting to feel again. And now if I can get a little bit more cardio, because over the last 2 years, I stopped all my cardio because I couldn't do it. And so I put a little bit of weight on because of that. Now it's like, I feel like I can go back out there and do it again.
I was about to say.
Yeah. I hate you. I hate you. I hate your face. I hate your face, you beautiful.
That's just like somebody saying, hey, do you like my new haircut? I didn't notice you had hair. I'm sorry. I didn't even notice.
It's like, I hate your face, you beautiful man.
Okay. I have to go.
Me and Jeanette will wrap up, but thank you for spending some time with us this morning. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
I think we went about a month this time without doing this.
Honestly, Saturdays seem to work for me. Honestly,
having a morning drink is kind of nice because we're not getting smashed.
We have to go treasure hunting.
Oh, you know what I want?
I found,
I've
been going to Young's Park.
Where do you want to go?
And there's a lot of coins, clad coins, but no silver coins. I'm looking for silver.
We'll go. We'll go to some of these other places. You know what I wanted to talk about today too, with those balloons and all those objects.
Oh yeah, that's fascinating.
Well, because there's a lot of stuff coming out. Edward Snowden made a comment about the balloons.
What did he say?
So right now there's a lot of talks about UFOs. Because one of them was a Chinese balloon, but the other ones are still unidentified.
They're not saying what.
And then was her name Jean Pierre, the spokeswoman for the president, the president, the one that does the interviews,
the news.
Yeah, they ask her questions.
Yeah.
Her name is Jean Pierre something.
During Trump, it was like Hope or something.
She came out like a week or two ago. She says they're not UFOs, and so everybody comes out and they're like, "Well, now we believe they're UFOs because you're telling us they're not." So Snowden came out, and I believe this is last week, and he put in the article in the news, and this was interesting. And he says, "Don't believe this nonsense about UFOs." He goes, "They're diverting your attention." He goes, "It's all about diverting your attention." He goes, because what came out this last 2 weeks that they were talking about, which has virtually disappeared from the news, the allegations that pipeline from Russia to Germany, the one that the pipeline, the natural fuel, no, I don't know if gas,
okay.
Yeah, and when the war with Russia's war,
they were going to shut it down.
Well, and then they said it was sabotage. It was an explosion. And everybody said Russia did it. Well, now there's like all sorts of stuff coming out saying that the United States did it. And Edward Snowden's coming out saying, no. This is all a diversion to divert your attention. He goes, now that there's all sorts of allegations that the United States may have done it.
Oh, that's taking the news now, the China diversion.
Right. So
You
now,
know what? It makes complete sense.
But so now that the whole thing with the balloons, what are they? There's like 5 of them or 4 of them, something like that.
It was
But
like
one of them
4
was
of them, yeah,
one of them was
they're-
only recovered, which is the Chinese one. The other ones aren't recovered.
And some are lost at sea.
Right. So so that's like the big thing. But it goes okay. So it goes down into like the whole conspiracy thing now.
Okay, I'm going to have to follow up with that.
And I'll talk about with Jeanette here in this in a minute with the whole conspiracy side of this.
But
Okay.
we're gonna have to.
So
But we're gonna
have you
to
ever heard of Project Bluebeam?
Say no.
I have to take a leak really, really bad right now.
Go.
I don't hear anything you're saying right now.
I'll talk with Jeanette about this. Go do your thing.
Come back and say bye.
Dario,
Game off.
Dario's covering. Okay, we'll do a game off real fast. We'll
Game
come right
off.
back. Game off.
Game off.
Game off. Game on. 3, 2, 1. Game on.
Game on.
I know we don't say it cool like Wayne's World. Game on.
There was that one time we were in sync.
Game on. Oh, game off.
Game off.
Okay, so our partner in crime took off. He had to take off, but anyway, so I was talking about Project Bluebeam.
Oh yes, you were.
So if you're a conspiracy theorist, you know what Project Bluebeam is.
I'm not though, so you're gonna have to elaborate.
So
I mean, yes,
there
I
was-
am, and I'm not.
there's
Try.
this. All right, you know what the one world order is, right?
Yes.
Like this whole idea that they're going to combine, like make this one world government that's going to, rule the whole world, abolish nationalities, and
Does that not also go with the fact that if you're like religious, it's also about like
it's going to destroy.
Armageddon?
It'll
Pretty
just
much like the coming of the beast. And
Yeah.
The mark. Yeah. I grew up in that.
there's like
sort of-
different things about it. Like there's the whole things with. See, you're not supposed to say that Illuminati.
Oh, you're not.
Like
I know, but
online.
everybody is like.
Well, you're not supposed to
everyone-
say it like on YouTube or anything like that because it's
Oh.
supposed to like flag your video.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's funny that YouTube has like something where they'll flag your video, demonetize it if you say the and people say like different things. They'll bleep it out. I've heard one guy say like Illuminati, so he's not saying it. So the whole thing
Illuminati.
is like that. There's
Wow,
like this
that's
whole
seriously-
Illuminati, and it's a part of the whole thing to take over the whole world, take control of the
Yeah.
financial system, enslave the whole world, and it's pretty like big, right? Like they're gonna abolish all religions and all that. It's kind of extreme, but there's always this theory that everything's moving us in the direction of like the one world order,
Yeah.
the
that's
Georgia
always-
Guidestones, and all that stuff, and some people believe that like through and through that there are powers to be out there that want to do away with all of like all of our governments, all of our rights, and they want like a one world government, and they control the money system, and there's only like certain families in charge of that, like royalties are in charge of that, and all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Project Bluebeam is. I don't want to say it's an extension to it, to like one world government, or if it's like a part of the pathway to it. So Project Bluebeam
Okay.
is this idea that, okay, how do you crush everybody's belief systems and everything that they know to make it possible for you to take control of them? Okay. Start wars without starting a war.
Okay.
And like World War III is like like the theory that there's going to be a World War III, so they can have reason to start a one world government, destroy like a massive horrible war, worse than World War II. That at the end of it, we would all cave into like, yes, we need a one world government, so this will never happen again. So like in communist Russia, Soviet Union, and communist China, like I don't want to say they outlawed all religions, but they basically did away, and they said like these religions aren't bad because it gives you like concepts of individuality, and these religions don't correlate to our beliefs as communists.
Okay.
Okay, So you see that like in communist countries. Mm-hmm. Almost where they outlaw religion. So there's this idea, and they call it conspiracy theory, and this is, I don't know if it's more of an outlandish one, but it's called Project Bluebeam. Mm-hmm. How can we get people to lose their faith in their religions and need a one world government? And
I mean, without even knowing anything about Project Bluebeam, you would have to make, I don't know, information accessible and like let people decide for themselves, I would think. No? Internet? Phone? Influencers?
You use the project, the basis of Project Bluebeam is to artificially create a catastrophe, or not a catastrophe, but a situation that questions everybody's belief that they need one world government, right?
So it's a fake. So is it possible
to use technology to create this artificial situation? And there's really one thing that they would try to do with Project Bluebeam to make you question everything.
Electromagnetic.
No.
No.
Create the illusion of an alien invasion.
Oh, I was going to say also create the illusion of the fact that, oh, that's interesting. Never mind.
That they would, okay, like, do you remember the Phoenix Lights?
Yes.
Some people thought that was like a testing of Project Bluebeam.
So could that also be related to like the Taos Hum, where people think that there is like something alien or
people, a lot of people
or...
thought the Taos Hum and these hums around the world were related to governments digging underground.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what
tunnels
about like,
and underground bases?
What about like Dulce, like in New Mexico? Because we always keep coming down to like the same things around here in New Mexico. I mean, Dulce is like supposed to
underground
be like,
alien base.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's like, I mean, I would say underground digging.
Multiple aliens, different
aliens,
races.
Because it's not about. I mean, yes, there's always like that theory that the government's already had underground cities,
right,
and they're preparing for the end of the world, and you know what I'm saying. But like,
so
Dulce is a little bit different. They talk about underground.
There is
civilization for aliens.
There was a deal. So like, okay, this is part of the show where we go conspiracy theory, right?
I love conspiracy theory. Just
I know, right?
It's so interesting, and it's interesting because it's a mind bender. Do I believe it? No. It's fun to talk about like ghosts and like.
It is fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's legit fun, right?
Yeah, it is fun.
So, going. I mean, if you could talk about that, like the underground bases, why there was aliens there, and why was there aliens there, and all that in Dulce, and why were there Americans there, and what were they doing? And there was a theory that President Eisenhower, and there's a name for this, and I can't think of the name of it, that he went to Palm Springs, California, and during his trip, he disappeared for a little while. The Palm Springs. You remember President Eisenhower, general of World War II and all that. So President Eisenhower, he disappeared, and I could be saying this wrong. Something that they said, like they came out and said, oh, he disappeared because he was getting like dental work or something done like that. You know, he had a chipped tooth or something, or he got sick or something like that. But secretly during that time, that he met with gray aliens at an Air Force base out there.
You're talking about Area 51?
No. Edwards Air Force Base in California. Because Area 51 is in...
Arizona, but it's on its way to California.
Right. Palm Springs is in California. So, and he made a deal with them, and I'm trying to see what the name of it was. A treaty, under the treaty. Oh, here he goes. Oh man, I'm looking for the name of the treaty. But that he made a treaty with them where they could like have underground bases here. They can take human beings to like do what they want with them, but they had to return the people, and they can only do like so many. They can only take like so many people. Do you know what I mean? But that the aliens violated the treaty by not returning people and taking more of them. But that's why we have like underground bases with aliens because there was this idea that like Eisenhower, we wanted their technology. So for them to work with us on technology, we gave them the right to do that kind of stuff.
So with stuff like that, where people, you're already planting seeds in people's heads about like aliens already being here. And so, I mean, this has been going on for a really long time. You have people who like internet search it. I mean, that's what we're doing. This is the diversion. This is the biggest diversion ever.
This is the 1950s.
So it's not okay. So then you're talking about like Project Bluebeam, where this whole alien thing is like a diversion.
So with Project Bluebeam,
it didn't begin from the beginning. This is just a part of like what they think people want to see.
So Project Bluebeam was this idea that the government would be like, okay, well, we have to get people to like almost like give up on the religion and question their faith and everything. So was that there was people in the government that would use technology that didn't exist back then, but more likely exists now, but probably not as well as people think. That the government would project images of alien activity that would cause people to question their faith in religion. And it would pose a threat to the United States. Okay, so you have to think about like well, let me think here. President Reagan said this. He had this speech where he said, "How great would it be if there was an extraterrestrial threat to us? How quickly would that unite all the peoples of Earth?" And that always, like in terms of conspiracy theorists, that always left a thing in their mind of like, what is President Reagan secretly telling us?
What is he really saying?
Because, you know, people always say, like, they always look at presidential speeches. Like, when you look at President Kennedy's speech against the dark group. Like, he says, beware of... Oh, now I have to look this up. I'm going to butcher it. Kennedy's speech about... I'm going to put... Illuminati, but
Oh, you're so flagged. You just typed in the Illuminati.
About secret societies. He did a speech about secret societies and the dangers of secret societies, right? And people like really read into that. What is he talking about? Is that something that potentially got him killed? Because President Kennedy was saying this live.
There's all these theories about.
There's all these theories
why he died, says, and there's a lot of
people that are trying to subvert the government, trying to subvert the press, and do stuff in secret. He talks about that. Then you go back to Dwight Eisenhower, where Eisenhower, on his farewell speech, he says, "Beware of the industrial military complex." And people are like, "What is he warning us about?" About like this new thing that came out of World War II. If you have people that made tons of money on war, will they always perpetuate war to try to, make money? So like everything was always all connected. And I can't find this right now, but like there was this, people said, and Eisenhower met with the Greys at Edwards Air Force Base. And people, there's all sorts of stories about people who know people that were there and all this stuff. And they talked about like, that Eisenhower made that deal. That's why the aliens are here in underground bases and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then, some guy came out and with this Project Bluebeam, and go figure he dies, right? When he comes out with it.
Go figure he dies. And then that's only obviously sparking more speculation.
Serge Monast is his name. Let me put that in there. Who is? Oops. So now I'm googling this all as I'm going. Who is Serge Mon? And so, so he came out with this, that he had information that that people would, that the governments were trying to like, how do we form this one world government and all this? And he says they want to use technology to create the idea that there's like an alien invasion. And if there's life from outer space and there's aliens, people would question their faith and they would question everything about life. And then...
Would it really question people's faith?
Because maybe at one point, I don't know.
Wouldn't like people say like, well, this is this is the power of God and we don't understand it. This is how miraculous it is.
Right,
It's bigger than just us. And I mean, I can imagine the arguments that religious groups would like totally.
Here it is. It says, according to the this video on here, Bluebeam is a joint project by NASA and the United Nations that using the strongest technologies aims to spread a new religion on Earth and create various simulations to establish total control on people and establish a new world order. So, when the Phoenix lights happened, people thought, "Oh my God, it's the start of Project Bluebeam," and so they said people said they saw this UFO, and there's videos of it and everything, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm not going to say that people didn't see it. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm not saying I do or don't.
I'm not saying I don't do.
But
yeah.
But
I'm sure they saw something.
That something big, like some sort of big, almost like a rectangular or half arc
they had to
UFO.
Convince people.
Hovered over the highway headed to Phoenix, and then it floated right over Phoenix. And there's tons of video on YouTube. People uploaded like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And then the governor came out joking about it and upset a lot of people because he was joking about it. But they were like, "Could this be part of Project Bluebeam, where our government's testing the idea?" What's up?
You need ice.
Where the government could be testing the idea of creating this hoax about an alien invasion.
That's crazy.
And so that's project. So that if there was an alien invasion and it was dangerous, we would need to unite under one flag for the good and defense of Earth, and that a lot of people would start losing their faith in the religion because suddenly they're like, "Oh, everything we know about our religion is not true because we're not the only ones out there anymore." So so there's like this multi-pronged effect. But the thing, the main concept behind, or the main means of Project Bluebeam was that we would have the technology to do that, project images of UFOs coming in that would be so realistic that you would believe that there's like we are under threat.
I mean, I could see it. I mean, I understand. There's still always like that idea that things can be faked. Things can be produced. I mean, they always question the landing of the moon landing.
So, like when you and I talk about things we've seen, like even with the stuff we have seen, right? It's always like, I know you and I, when we do it, I feel like we talk about it in the sense of like, what could it be other than like a ghost? What could it be other than UFOs? Like, well, that didn't really act like a helicopter. There was no lights on that, like the green and red light of the port side, the star side of the ship.
And we always talk about like we're not smart enough to know what the government is doing.
And we're not smart enough to know what they're doing.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So, but I think when we talk about stuff like that, we always try to do it in the sense of like a logical process of elimination. Like, could it be just a high flying aircraft? Could it be this? Because it could be, right?
It could be.
I hear sounds in my building, and it's like, okay, I want to go to the basement. I want to see, are there water lines that are knocking? Like, when you and I heard sounds, like in my mind, I was always like, what could it be? You know what I mean? Is it not like most people see something that they don't know, and they'll be like, oh my God, it's a ghost. Oh my God, it's an alien.
You can't just jump to that conclusion. You have to just like, I mean, come on, look at your environment, look around you. Your drink looks glorious.
It does. It tastes good. It really tastes good.
I mean, it's like mine's like a light.
I put the blue in there too.
Yeah.
But you're right. You can't jump to that conclusion, right?
I mean, it's just kind of silly. Come on. I mean, are we really just like living on the fact that like we just believe that?
And you know what? Let's be honest. I believe there are greater things in the universe than you and I will probably ever know. I was reading a scientific article this morning.
No, that's the Grinch drink.
I know, right? That the scientists said, if there is alien technology and they needed supermassive computers that had the quantum ability, like quantum computers, what if they had the ability to tap into the power of a black hole to create like a quantum computer? And you start thinking like, that's insane. That is so beyond what I can process or think. You know what I mean?
I think the most terrible thing that technology, it's tapping into people's psyche and mind, and you see it all over too. Like, you start to plant seeds in people's minds about what they see, like on social media.
Especially with social media.
Oh God! And then all of a sudden, like people are just out there believing all kinds of crazy shit. Like the whole thing where, like, I mean, I say it all the time, like, "Ooh, we're in the Matrix," like because it's all about visualization in the world that I see as my perception in my mind. Like this is what's happening, you know. But sometimes,
so like with quantum theory and the glitches and all that stuff that you see, it's really interesting that you can. And mathematically, you can almost prove that we do live in some sort of matrix. What it is, we don't know.
And then also religion also plays into this. So you have to think about this. It's not just about what, like, all right, aliens and stuff like that. You also have religious on some sort of spectrum saying that if you're a good person and you have been serving God, that you will go to heaven. Is that not a sort of matrix or another dimension?
Sure.
Or
I mean, could very well be.
And is that not like saying mentally that you're not you're not in this realm? There's different realms.
You could almost visualize.
It also plays into the fact that
if you believe in a God, that maybe God is outside the matrix and we're in the matrix, and like like I'm looking at this map.
Yeah.
Or just like the movie, right?
Religion also kind of plays into that. So if you're really talking
it could
about,
very well could, right?
It's religion also plays into that. It doesn't have to be like government saying it would be an easy seed to plant with everybody to say that it's an alien invasion. That's not far-fetched to think that you're going to go to a heaven where it's another dimension. Right. I mean, it's not that far-fetched.
So, but Project Bluebeam is on the basis that people on Earth who want to take control, create a one world government, do away with nationalities, do away with all these religions, would create a concept of like some sort of alien invasion, and it always came down to this alien invasion.
Yeah.
And how would they use the absolutely best technology to create a very realistic experience? So like, I see something in the sky and I can hear it. And it's almost like being in, what do you call those things where the where you can see and it's like the whole experience?
Are you talking about like you're talking about like
the Oculus?
You're talking about like damn it.
Wow, I know whenever you want to say something you can't remember the name of it.
Like
right?
I know what you're saying. Like, are we gonna hand gesture by the end of this podcast? Like no one's gonna hear us, but we're gonna understand each other.
We're gonna understand each other.
Like,
I don't. But that somebody would create such an all-encompassing experience that it would be so believable that you would not be able to say like know the difference whether it was fake or not.
How crazy!
And there's
there's like Facebook already doing that.
And there's people that say. So there's some people that say like, okay, the U.S. government has the technology to do this now. Okay, so you look at things like
video games.
You look at concerts. There was a concert done recently where like Tupac Shakur did a duet.
Oh yeah, it was like a hologram.
A hologram.
Yeah.
And the hologram was really good. And people are saying like, well, look where our technology is. And if we can do this on a stage at a concert, what can our government do? And so people, like I say, they could use radio waves and frequencies to affect your mindset when this is all happening to make the experience so real that when the experience was over, you would be left questioning everything, and you would be so scared that you'd be like, "What is our government going to do to protect us?"
I think people just need to just.
This is the basis of what Project Bluebeam was, and so. Going back to like everything going on in the United States right now, what Edward Snowden did is like people there's a lot of literature on the internet right now saying like, is this the basis of Project Bluebeam, that they shot down all these things that are high flying? They don't know what they are. We know the first one was a Chinese spy balloon, but the rest of them we don't know what it is now, and the U.S. government's not coming out. And then, like I say, with what was interesting was reading this article about Edward Snowden's video where he says, "Don't believe it; it's not real."
Yeah,
I found that super interesting. I
think people want answers to their conspiracy theories because it's been out there, and people watch it. And there's a bunch of stuff out there on the internet. The Matrix, aliens. Being psychic and being able to say that, oh, my loved one who passed on. 2,000
years ago, what would be a superstition? Like if, or a conspiracy theory? If you were like, before internet, before electricity, we're living
witchcraft.
It would either be witchcraft or superstition.
Mm-hmm. Superstition and witchcraft.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh my God!" And it happened when she was here, so obviously she's a witch because she made it happen.
Oh my God!
We're gonna burn her at the stake.
We're gonna burn her. So all of a sudden we had like this wicked windstorm after she just cursed everyone in the town.
Right.
She has to be a witch.
So what's funny about that is, if people were talking about that thousands of years ago, have we really changed all that?
Not
much?
really. We've just become a
more technologically,
and it's become a greater shit show. Now we're all spun up and ridiculous.
Right. And look, I never take away from anybody when somebody says like, "Oh my God, this happened to me and I saw this." I never take away their experience from them and tell me that you're crazy or you didn't see what you think you saw.
Oh no, it's all about what they saw and their perception and how it.
Right.
Yeah.
Only thing I always say is like, you have to eliminate what you already know.
Possibilities.
The possibilities. And if you can't say 100% for certain, I saw a UFO without a doubt. If you can't say that without a doubt it's a UFO, then you have to eliminate everything else. And if you can't eliminate everything else, then you leave the possibility that of what you thought could have been just a misidentified something from Earth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so Project Bluebeam. I'm all eating away.
I know. Isn't it good though?
These are the cheap crackers with pepperoni and cheese,
ridiculous.
but they're delicious.
I know. It's the most ridiculous thing. I know.
But
and I knew it was going to be good after
so,
vodka porch crawl.
I know. These are
and then
good.
it just became ridiculous because then we added Midori and Croco.
Midori's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, but this is honestly the next St. Patrick's Day drink. Honestly, I really like it.
Let me ask you. Now that I told you about Project Bluebeam, and it's and I know we like to touch on. I know we talk about the news and everything, about the week and all that. But then we always touch on something like conspiracy theory wise. I just kind of telling you on Project Bluebeam. What do you think about that, and do you think it's possible?
Absolutely, I think it's absolutely possible because when you think about government, they're also. Yes, these are our elected officials, but they also have information on a different level than average Americans would. Because we're average Americans. Think about like your role as a leader. Think about the information that's dispensed to you and how you have to dispense information. And do you need to dispense all the information you receive from your leadership? Absolutely not. There's some information you have to dispense to them to keep things going, and there's some things that you don't have to dispense because it doesn't pertain to their job and their level. So think about it as business. Think about government as business. Right. I would think that there are things that our government does, and I know that people, especially the American people, that we want our government leadership to be transparent, but they don't have to be in a sense because they can't be transparent with us. They can't be transparent about wars and talks and conspiracies and what they think the other people are doing because ultimately their job is to protect the American people and to do what's best for the American people, whether it's like, I'm sorry, but they're just average people and they have to make decisions, and it's not always the right decision. Sometimes it's a shit show, and I think that as Americans we have the right to have our opinions, which is great, amazing. Yeah. So is it possible? Yes. Is it possible for government to be hiding stuff? Now, would they go elaborate? Now, this is where I think this is where we get a little soggy as Americans.
Yeah.
And this is. And I think that you've experienced this with leadership. I think that there's this perception that our government has a lot more power than we give them credit for. And they have some sort of power, don't get me wrong. But really, are we really thinking that our government is going to, I don't know.
Overthrow the people?
Yeah. Are we really going to really think that they're just going to get down to the stupid and say that we're going to cover up alien invasions or alien stuff? Come on.
It's funny that you say that.
It's so ridiculous.
First of all, Project Bluebeam will require a technology that is so intense on such a wide scale, on a wide scale, because it has to be visually like real. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the technology's there.
No,
and it would have to be something that sounds real. Mm-hmm. It has to be something that would be so interactive. Mm-hmm. And could you do that outside of like an Oculus, outside of a theory? Could you do it? Would the technology be? Because have you ever like shown a flashlight into the sky at night?
Yeah, and it's not exactly.
It fades away.
It's not exactly the bat signal that we all hope it would be.
Right. You try to put something in a flashlight, and you shine in the sky, and you don't see it. So, I think yeah, maybe like on the military and all that stuff, there is really great technology. But would the technology be that good that it's so 100% convincing that everybody be like, oh my God, this is really happening?
Now, if you studied history and you realize that a lot of the things that have happened, that you've also come to realize this is kind of reality. I remember when I was in college, mm-hmm. and I remember, because I've always been a person who's like, I can't believe it. I would always look up to, when I was in elementary school, let me just mm-hmm. kind of give your perception. Like when I was in elementary school, I'd look at the high school kids get on the bus and they'd be carrying books. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wow, they're so smart. Right. And then as I grew up and as I started to look at people older than me, and I'd be like, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. I can't believe they're adults and they can pay bills and do all the stuff. And this is the exact same concept I think people have, like, oh, government, they must be super smart. And then when you actually go out into a professional setting, and you're actually there, and you actually have, like, I've gone to college, and I was expecting a lot more as a professional from my leadership or even from my coworkers, and I've come to realize they're not as smart as I thought that they would be, and it was actually very disappointing.
A heart doctor,
it was
a brain
very
doctor
disappointing.
Is very specialized, and they're smart in their area. I mean, they're probably really book smart. Some of them probably have common sense, some probably don't.
Yeah.
Like a mechanic could listening to your car, figuring out what's wrong with your car, really skilled in that area. But in general, about everything else, maybe not.
Yeah. And I think people give more credit
yeah.
than what is deserved. Now, look at yourself as a leader. Now, how many times...
Amazing.
I'm an amazing leader. But no, how many times have you had someone that you're trying to talk off the ledge because they've given you a lot more power than you carry?
Right.
And you're just like surprised. You're like, well, why would you think that I would just outright fire you for this?
Look, and I know there's a time where I lean against the mountain, pushing against it, but just because I'm trying to move it doesn't mean I actually move the mountain.
Yes, and the thing about it is, it's like I'm also here to help you, mm-hmm. protect you, to help you like learn and grow. I'm here to mold you, and also I'm here to like make sure you're like being protected, and we're not sending you in a dangerous environment. Right. Like, so, people just give me way too much credit than what I deserve, because
I've already learned not to give you like more credit.
I'm so mad. Give me more credit.
But tell you, kind of bringing it back around, though.
I did not. Oh, well, I'm not even going to say it. I was going to say, like, I was bartending, and
you didn't think to add the green and the blue stuff to your drink.
No. I was gonna say something. I'll say it at the end of our podcast. But
I
don't want to jinx myself.
It's funny though, because.
And that's, I think, people...
Bringing it back. It's like people almost give the government more credit than they...
Exactly. And just think about your personal experience as a manager. So that's how I think about the government. We give the government way more credit. And I feel like sometimes the government, they're just people.
And they make stupid mistakes, which is why sometimes the government sometimes thinks they can say like crap.
It's super more complex than companies. And if you work for... a business, a small mom and pop, a corporation.
That's a valid point.
If you've been in these areas, you already know the deficiencies.
It's not a taco stand. It's got a lot of moving parts.
Taco stands are a lot more organized than a restaurant. And then if you grow from there, a franchise, and then, you know what I'm saying? It's like as you move up.
Bringing it back to what we were talking about. Mm-hmm. So Project Bluebeam, if it were real. Okay. I'm not saying it is. What you're saying is, it would be so complex. Do you think the people that are in power have the capability to do it? Much less as technology.
And there's a guy named Bob on their team, and he's going to mess it up. Or someone named,
Larry.
Larry or Sharon or sounds like Karen.
So the question is,
know.
like, so you think about Project Bluebeam, this idea of like one world order and people losing faith in religion. A, is the technology really there to make an experience so overwhelming that you would just be all in? You know
Can
what I
you
mean?
imagine?
I mean, that would be amazing, right?
And can you imagine the complicated communication system between that?
Oh, here's another idea.
The communication would have to be stellar.
That's funny because, so to make something like that possible,
yes,
you would need so much logistics, so many support systems, people.
Absolutely.
People. Think about the thousands, and to make it like so big nationwide to get everybody, you would have to have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to be a part of this. How would you be able to get them to stay all quiet? Because, I mean, if I were a part of it, I'm a part of this big group and we're going to get everybody to buy into a one world government and lose their faith in religion. I'm just an employee, but do you think, like, I'm not going to be like, hey, Jeanette, you know what we did today, dude? This is, like, so weird. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How are you going to keep that many people quiet?
And even, you talk about even military and army. And
contractors to build whatever you need.
I mean, it would not exactly go well. Because
it wouldn't go well.
Because, first of all, people are people. We're not machines.
Hey, we talk. People talk.
People talk.
Freaking talk.
We're not machines. And we're not perfect. We're not 100%.
Right.
So until you can come up with like a civilization of robots and they become our soldiers, then I might believe that it is possible because you can synchronize through a program, but not through people. You cannot make people do all of that elaborate stuff. There's no way.
This idea of Project Bluebeam, as interesting as it is, I don't want to say it's outlandish. Because if you can,
it's fun,
it's fun, right?
Conversation,
but it's fun. But if you can get everybody to believe that we were an imminent threat, and like, okay, we have to buy in a one world government, you would want to do something, right? I mean, like if you wanted to do that, but it would be such a massive project, so many people involved. But then again, like I say, the technology to make it so 100% realistic. Mm-hmm. I mean, does that we have good technology, but does it that good? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, people glitch out. Think about this on a global scale. Think about think about internet. Think about like the signal. Is it going to be super great in all areas?
Some third world country where they don't have like much else than the old fashioned theater where you have the reels and it's all. You know what I mean? For the picture show, much less technology that we have. I mean, I don't think that.
I'm going to debunk it. Honestly.
I'm going to debunk it.
I like the topic of conversation, but I want to debunk it.
And I'm not taking away the possibility of aliens because, like, I've always said this, but from a mathematical perspective, there's got to be something in the universe other than us. And the fact that NASA every day says we found another planet in the habitable zone.
We want to believe this.
And they I was reading an article where they said we found two planets in one solar system in the habitable zone that are even better than Earth.
How is it better?
They said they seem to be like better suited for life than Earth is.
Oh.
And soil
must be that must be heaven.
So I know, right? When you go to heaven, you go to the other planet.
That's where you go.
So even science is proving that life is probably going to be possible. And from a numerical, mathematical perspective, you think about if everything they say about the universe is as big as it is, numerically,
it should be.
It should be.
It should be because if we talk about numbers, you talk about how numbers don't ever end.
Don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
So if numbers don't lie, then
it's possible. So then
our space should never lie.
Right. So then, okay.
Distance. Space.
So what you and I are saying that we're not taking away the possibility that something could exist out there. Mm-hmm. But what we are saying is the idea that Project Bluebeam is possible. It's like we're leaning towards no.
I'm leaning towards no just because of the logistics and the mathematics.
I'll never say 100% no because there's always room for possibility.
Yeah.
But
could it happen? Yes. Could it happen? Yes. Could it happen? Could we? I don't know. Honestly, I'm very doubtful.
It's very skeptical.
Very little faith in the fact of how precise this could be.
So what is all this talk about the things that they shot down over Alaska, Canada, where else over the Great Lakes? Like the Chinese one was shot going out to the Atlantic. So the question is like, what did they shoot down? And I mentioned this before, and I've read this. I've read this many times. It's already been. I've reread it again.
Drones.
No. That our radar technology has gotten so much better that suddenly we're seeing stuff out there that we've never seen before. And
that's a really good, interesting.
And what they
idea.
say is like before we probably would have never seen these high flying balloons on radar, but our radar technology has gotten so much amazingly better that pilots are reporting stuff that they've never seen before.
This is an interesting concept. What if you're like, okay, kind of like the ocean is so undiscovered. There's probably fish out there, and we think that the dinosaur era like has died off, right?
Like the what's that one? The monster,
You're talking about like Godzilla?
No.
I was like, are we talking about Godzilla now?
The Loch Ness monster.
Oh, Loch Ness. Yeah, we talk about like how. Okay, so I do not discount the fact that there's probably animals, mammals, or
that
fishes
may be in existence.
Oh, and they're so amazingly big because their environment has let them be that big because of the area that they're in.
It's so big. The ocean's so big.
So it's evolved to the fact that they've just become like buildings.
You can.
I have no idea.
In the Pacific Ocean, in the Mariana Trench, you can hide the Himalayas, and you wouldn't see them. You wouldn't even know if they were down there.
I mean, can you imagine if that's even possible? I mean, that is possible. That, of course. Okay, so like, are not some fishes like, or like you're talking about goldfish? I mean, they're confined in a fishbowl. Don't they stay like that small?
Yeah.
Like, don't you give them like bigger room?
Alligators. Yeah, if you put them in a small area, they don't get big. But you put them in a big area, they'll get bigger.
And then, of course, who's to say their lifespan? We don't know their lifespan.
We don't know.
We only know our own lifespan.
Right.
So to know, it's just kind of like a fly.
Yeah.
Do they know the idea of their lifespan?
I mean, a fly is only like 20 some odd days. To us, we're like, it's only 20 some odd days.
But to that, and then
their perspective of time could be, God, these 20 days is like really like 20 years.
I know. And it's all about perspective.
Right.
And then they come and they're like, well, we see these little humans. And they're like, what the fuck are these giants?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Seriously, can it not be possible that that's how it is in the world?
Right.
The mammals, because we're comparing them to our lifespan and our size.
Right. It's all relative.
It's all relative
to
our own experience.
Our own experience. Yeah. But in terms of the ocean, like, and I saw this great graphic about the ocean this week, where it's like at this depth, it's as deep as the Eiffel Tower. This depth is as deep as the Empire State Building.
That is amazing.
This depth is the world's tallest building in Saudi Arabia. At this depth is as deep as this building is. But then it just keeps going and keeps going. And it says, this is where the Titanic's at. And this is where this shipwreck's at. And it just gets getting deeper. At this depth, this is the depth of the Himalaya Mountains. And it still gets deeper.
We would never be able to explore it because our bodies and our technology may not be able to keep up with the pressure.
Right.
We will never be able to really see it.
Curious about space versus the ocean. The same problem, but in opposite ends of the spectrum. So what's pushing on us right now that allows us to breathe, allows our body to function?
What's pushing us on us? You're talking about like the gravity?
Gravity.
Yeah.
Gravity keeps us on Earth, but so much gravity is like it's
keeping us here. But
well,
then
not only that,
over there,
but gravity is also because like your blood goes down to your feet, and then your heart works to bring your blood back up. Gravity's pushing on your body, even though you don't feel it. Gravity is pushing on your body. There's pressure pushing on you. I feel it right now. Your pressure pushing on you, right?
Especially when I drink Midori.
But you don't feel it at our. I know, right? But
I feel pushed down.
I feel gravity.
I don't feel pushed up.
I feel gravity
pushed down now. I feel so pushed down.
But gravity. Gravity is pushing on us, even though you don't feel it. That's allowing our body to function the way it functions. Mm-hmm. That allows us to stay on Earth, right? So what happens when you change gravity? So when you go into space, there's no gravity on you. Suddenly, your circulatory system doesn't work the way it's supposed to.
Dude, I'm going to soar.
Right? Matter of fact, when you go into space, part of the problem between the pressure differences
Would you feel like you just expand?
Your blood boils. But it doesn't boil because of the heat or the cold. It's because all the air particles in your blood, they all expand. And they all expand simultaneously.
I was going to say, I would think that if you're not being held down, you're growing, you're
if
expanding.
If you don't have pressure holding you right here, it expands.
You're just going to expand.
Right. And so so that's the space. And they're trying to build suits that can simulate the same amount of pressure on your body as gravity. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, at the very bottom of the ocean, you have all the weight and all the gravity on you.
You're just getting weighed down to the fact that you're just going to
crushes your body. It just obliterates your body.
Yeah, you're just going to die from all the weight.
Same problem, just opposite end of the spectrum. You know what I mean? So we have these spacesuits, but they're not a permanent solution because you can't be in space in a spacesuit indefinitely.
So then we move on to the vehicle that carries us.
Matter of fact, when you're in outer space too long, your bone loses density because it no longer needs to be dense because of the weight of gravity.
So you atrophy. And you can't.
In a sense, it's like bone atrophy. I guess you lose density because you're in space. So like, even though we can go to space for like extended amount of time, nobody can go to space forever because we haven't solved the problem of how to like fix the gravity issue on our body. Whereas if you go to the bottom of the ocean, well, we haven't really figured out how to keep something down there forever.
Because you're just going to
There's too much
weight.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get enough supplies down there. The bathysphere, which was the one thing that they went really deep in, and then James Cameron went down there like in the Challenger Deep. But even that got to a point, and I think it sprung a leak or something like that. But because it's so deep, and they could only hold like 2 people, the vessel's so tight, so we don't have the ability to stay in the bottom of the ocean floor at the deepest level either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so our material science is still limited.
We will never know.
We'll know. We're just not there yet. Like our material science that makes the things, like makes the suits and makes the craft for underwater, our material science is not there yet. It's getting there. So like the concept of a cell phone.
So maybe the next thing, okay, so this is going to be like, wow, next level podcast, but what if we just, our bodies are vessels.
Right.
The next level isn't bodies, it's our mind.
Well, it could be, right?
It could be the signal of our mind.
Maybe, right?
Just the
But yeah,
awareness.
The material science is not there yet. Because like you're like saying, okay, what if we could project your mind to somewhere else so you can see what's going on there, right?
Yeah.
In theory, like there's electrical frequencies going on in your head, the electrical signals, the synapses and all that. You know everything going on in your brain. And so in paper, you could be like, how can I project that somewhere else? And you could write it all down on paper. But the material science to make the computers, to make the technology, to make it happen is not there yet.
No, and I think it is possible. But we're
just not there yet.
Yeah, and we're thinking physically. We shouldn't, I mean... You're talking teleportation. You're talking about you're also talking about telepathy.
Telepathy, yeah.
You're talking about wow.
Think about teleportation.
Wow.
We on paper we talk about teleportation, being able to take apart your body completely and recreate it exactly the same way somewhere else, because all the atoms in your body are you can find them anywhere in the universe.
You just have to come together somewhere else.
Just take you apart and the computer writes down the instructions, send the instructions somewhere else, and put
a 3D printer,
like a 3D printer on a molecular level to create you.
Yes.
And then, but the material science is not there yet to do that. So theoretically, it's possible.
It is possible, right? I think it is possible. Oh wow, I like it.
Right, but then. Think about it. If they recreate you on a molecular level to be your exact same imprint, right? Would your consciousness still be the same in the copy of you that they just created?
I think. Oh, I don't know, but if my 3D imprint, I would hope for like a boob lift and lip filler. And I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
If you're gonna,
if you're gonna do a 3D printer, why not?
Why not just enhance me just a little?
So the ideas and the concepts and even the theories can be there, but is the material science, the thing that makes it actually happen, is it there yet? The theory for cell phones have been there a long time because they talked about using radio waves to communicate where you can see each other and stuff.
I don't know. No, and I think it's definitely not there yet. But if you're thinking,
it may get there one day, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun
like,
to think it's a mind bender.
And it's funny because you think
I love to think about that.
This all started with Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so somebody came up with this idea to take over the world and cause enough chaos in the world that they would want a one world government, and people would lose faith in their religion because an alien invasion would seem so imminent, dangerous, so realistic that we would just give everything up and go to our government. Now,
can you imagine if you were on the committee for Project Bluebeam? Can you imagine, I
would do the evil laugh. Ha, 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 ha,
ha, ha. I'm like, give us some Midori and Caraco and a beer and
it's funny because
I will
okay,
take the shit out of this.
Like I said, and we just said this, in the scale of everything we talk about in terms of conspiracy theory, because I think we talk about stuff in the news. No. We talk about things kind of in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
But then we always kind of talk about conspiracy theories too. Or no, not conspiracy theories, but we talk about like ghosts and UFOs and things that we've experienced. Project Bluebeam, like we said,
I think we always come back to the things that kind of bend our minds a little.
Mm-hmm.
And I like those things. Those things, I just like the idea of people just expanding their minds a little. Just think about the
that's
possibility.
So important.
And for me, I like for people to, if anything, the message for me is expand your mind a little. Mm-hmm. Go beyond yourself, what you think you know.
It's so important.
And really think about the importance of just going beyond that.
Expand your mind no matter how phenomenal it is.
Yes.
Because that always pushes you to grow.
Yes. And, do
you know what I mean?
This is it. This is it.
This is it.
Yeah, this is a great message.
It is a great message.
Yeah, that's a really
message.
great message.
You know what's funny? Because as a kid,
expand your mind just a little. Think about the possibilities.
As a kid, you're always expanding your mind. You're drawing stuff, imagining, and you imagine great, insane things. But then as an adult, you're always told to stop being so stupid, get to work, get a career.
Use your imagination.
And you stop expanding your mind so much. But as a kid, your mind is so out there, so expanded, so crazy that you get so creative and you grow. It inspires you to get into the field you want to do the things you want to do. That's why people grow up, they want to be pilots. That's why people grow up, they want to be astronauts.
They want to do things that are just amazing.
But it's related to this phenomenal growth mentally that they have in their imagination.
Yes.
But as an adult, it's like you're told, no, work, logical, and all that. Maybe as an adult, you have to learn to maintain a balance of yes, when I'm at work, I'm responsible, I'm doing at work. When I go to the gym, I exercise. And when I have my own private time, I'm going to imagine the most phenomenal things because that might make my next big leap or my next big step growth. You know what I mean? Maybe in my next career or whatever, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That could really positively impact you, your life, your family, humanity.
I love it.
I think that's freaking awesome.
Dude, I think it's amazing.
I think that's a good place to wrap it, don't you think?
Right there. I think so too. I honestly, we came to the perfect spot
it was.
Of all of it. It was amazing.
So Project Blue Team, extraterrestrial type, yes. Ukraine's going on. They're still holding on. Do we think Russia is still a powerhouse? Not really, but only time will tell what's going to happen. I don't know what else. Can I make amazing drinks by accident? Yes.
Yes. Actually, this was very accidental. And it was the whole thing for the drinks this morning, actually afternoon, was a beer cocktail. Because I think we've been on the beer
cocktail for a while.
time.
Beer mimosa.
Just trying to figure out what's a good beer
and I like
cocktail.
the Modelo's. Those are good. So
Modelo's are a good base for a beer cocktail.
they're just good by themselves. Too.
Honestly, yeah, they are. But I actually like those more than the Coronas because we did a Corona
I like the
margarita.
Dos Equis Light too.
But I think I really like this for a beer base for a cocktail.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a really.
I
good
really
point.
like this one. If anything,
So Jeanette gives 2 thumbs up to
2
Modelo
thumbs
Especial.
up. We've done Corona. I think we did.
And to
What did we do
reiterate
last
what we
time?
said earlier, if you're going to drink with your friends, drink responsible. We're not
Yes.
promoting you to get like belligerent and all that. I always have to stick that in now, but
Yeah.
be responsible. I mean, I think that's one thing that when we started doing this was like always like, you can hang out with your friends and you can talk.
Drinks with
You
friends.
can just do it responsibly. Have a good
Yeah,
time. You know what I mean? Don't
absolutely.
get crazy. Don't go home and kick your dog and beat your wife.
If that's a positive message, I love it.
And the overarching message is like, don't limit your imagination and your mind and the possibilities.
Be creative.
Be as creative as can be, because that's what's going to spurn your growth and, you know, to attain who knows what.
Yes.
Cool.
I love it.
Love it.
Aww.
Oh, friend.
I love
All right.
it.
Till next time then.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
That was cool.